Available new and pre-owned vehicles, United Toyota has a car, truck, or SUV for every lifestyle and budget. United Toyota, located on Highway 86 between Imperial and El Centro.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you on a Thursday morning. It's already October 7th, Johnny. Johnny Porter's with me. October 7th already, Johnny.
Yes, sir. It is.
Yeah, it's getting close to Halloween.
Oh, the greatest time of the year.
I'm looking forward to it. With a 4-year-old granddaughter, she's becoming more fun. You know, that's good. Hey, Hyundai of Yuma, they are sponsors of this show, advertisers on this show. Get over and see him. A veteran-owned business out there on 32nd Street has the Hyundai cars. And I'm a fan, and I have been only in the last 3 years or so. Once I started noticing them, I ignored them on the road. I just thought they were, a cheap import that made good transportation, and reliable. Found out no, they're a lower priced in a lot of cases. I think they're very much a great value, but well made. Engineering has done a great job on the interior, the quality of the materials. Everything goes on. America's best warranty, 5 years, 60,000 miles, 10 years, 100. But to fun to get behind the wheel on these things. And electronic features, they excel because that's their goal, is to excel in those things. Get by and take a test drive. Tell them I sent your Johnny did or somebody. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, David?
Good. Working over here, man. Actually, my day starts at 3:30 in the morning.
I'm glad one of us is working.
I know everybody's asleep. Well, everybody's asleep except the farm workers.
They're up. Hey, I talked about you yesterday, man.
Did you?
Yeah,
right.
well,
In the good way or in the bad way?
Well, the Caramina Fuentes thing. You've been working for voter integrity for some time. I mean, that's something you've really been outraged about. That you've been, taking some personal interest in. Yeah.
That is exactly it. Actually, I didn't know, but yesterday, that article, that started in the Sun, it actually went national.
Oh, it did.
The Associated Press, and then I also got interviewed yesterday by J.T. Harris. I don't know if you heard his radio podcast.
No.
He's pretty big. He's the conservative circus. That's it. But anyways, it's a little frustrating, Russ, because we have gotten to this point with the ballot harvesting, the voter fraud, because everybody is looking at the Democrats as if it's their doing and their fault. The Republican Party, the establishment in the Republican Party is just as guilty because they knew about it, they looked the other way, and they let it get this far. That's what's frustrating.
Can't disagree. And you're not one to look the other way. You're an advocate for follow the rules, and especially when they flagrantly don't follow, it got you active and looking at it. Yeah.
Well, what happened? It really triggered me when I started to get mocked and ridiculed.
Yeah.
And I was told it was a conspiracy theorist, and it was that I was crazy, that I was a sore loser, to get over it, that it's not a big deal, that I was a fool, that I was dumb, that I was a clown, that I was wasting my time, that I was all these things, that I was chasing windmills.
That's all. Just
and
those?
It was a complete character assassination.
Yeah.
And that just gave me more drive to keep going. So it is very important that people that are listening, and I've been saying this for 20 years, or actually more now, 21 years, that if we really want to tackle voter fraud, we have to start looking at the good old boys in the system, in our party.
I think
establishment.
I think so, and I think when you look at all of it, but what's happened, in this last election, is a result of people not looking at it. People saying it's no big deal that you're chasing windmills, and so there was never any intention. And the whoever is going to do the voter fraud is emboldened because no one's going to look at it. You're going to be labeled ridiculous if you do.
Right. And what was really frustrating is from the beginning,
Yeah.
I was showing the establishment, the leadership, what was happening, and it was, that's the way it is. What are you going to do about it? And the other response was, which is one of the most foolish responses, is, well, you have to register more people to counter it. That was
what?
You have to register more people to count. No, I'm
Someone
I'm
actually
what,
said that to you. That's wonderful. Yeah.
That's those three answers.
Wow.
That's how it is. What are you going to do about it? And you have to register more people to counter it.
Well, you never quit. You were relentless.
That is exactly it. Now, the other thing is, the audit, and so I guess they found some, things that were not right.
Sure.
But they really didn't find a smoking gun, and that's
well, I guess it depends on what you call a smoking gun. I mean, they found things that weren't right, tens of thousands of things that weren't right, but they can't identify which ballot snuck through in that process. They can't identify if it was a Biden ballot or a Trump ballot. They can't. There's no way to identify that. They can just identify it's been done.
That's what I'm getting to. The difference with this particular case with Fuentes, she's just one person. All right. This involves many, many, many people.
Yeah.
I mean, this branches out not only locally, but this branches out to the state and other states. That this is the only case where there's hard evidence. And as you saw yesterday in that article, now Fuentes got tacked on additional charges.
Yes, I did.
The one that I really liked, it was conspiracy. To get hit with conspiracy, that means there's more people involved. It was planned. It was well orchestrated. That's what I've always been saying.
I would love to see her walk, though. I would, for this reason. I'd like to see her turn evidence and detail everything that happened, everybody involved, and a complete picture as to what's going on. I don't care about her. I care about the system. Does that make sense?
Bro, but believe me, I know exactly what you're saying. Believe me, I know exactly what you're saying. But the people that have already squealed have already actually talked about the system. And of course, those people, their names are confidential, but they already talked. There's a lot of people that were recorded. There's written statements, and there's hard evidence. So it's and the other thing is, and I got a kick out of this because some people that are close to her were telling me yesterday that she was saying, "F me and the Attorney General."
Really?
So, I mean,
wow.
she's the type of person that she will sink with a burning ship.
Yeah.
Because she will never accept that she was wrong, that she did what she did. They will never admit to it, and she will.
Well, she doesn't have to admit.
She'll go down with them.
She doesn't have to admit she was wrong. Just tell them exactly what. Just tell everybody exactly what you did. That's all.
Okay, she's not going to admit to it, but the people around her are already doing that.
Okay, good.
So
now, my next question.
Go ahead, shoot.
Well, will that information get into the hands? And I don't care about the people's names. The information of how and how big and the structure get into the names of those that develop policy for security.
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so. I don't. What happened was what happened is this. The additional information that the Attorney General gathered several months after this complaint started, that I don't know what they found. I just know what they've told me is that they have found substantial evidence, very, very good evidence. And what is public is fingerprints. They actually, and this is a public record, so I can say this, they actually fingerprinted the envelopes.
Oh.
Yeah, so I didn't know you could actually pull fingerprints from paper. I didn't know that.
So if somebody's fingerprints is on a piece of mail that it shouldn't be, they have no contact
exactly
with,
it.
I'm sure that's going to be a question mark. Like, wait, what the hell?
Right.
Why'd
In
you
fact,
have possession of this?
and if the same fingerprints are in several ballots, what does that tell you?
Now, and the fingerprints on the ballot, which is inside the envelope, not outside, right?
Both inside and out.
Wow. Well, if it's inside, that's definitely like, hey, what are you doing inside my envelope? That's great.
But right, and that's exact. Now here's the other thing.
Yeah.
It just demonstrates when there's a will to actually crack down on a problem like this.
Well, there is no will.
When law enforcement, before there wasn't, everybody turned the other way. When there's will, it just demonstrates how far they can actually go to actually crack down on the problem. But this also tells me that the other swing states where Trump would actually, the election was stolen from him.
Yeah.
That if there would have been will, they could have done the same thing that the Attorney General did here to crack down on the fraud in the other states. The problem is, it's always been, it's a conspiracy theory. It's Trump just making this up. He's a sort of, same thing they always told me, to try and discredit the voter fraud. But when there's will, then they really tackle the problem. And in this case, it's not just we're finding that people harvest ballots. All right, big deal. We've known that. But it's hard evidence of the structure, how it's done, the people behind it. I mean, this is a well thought out, well organized criminal organization. This is the only case that has hard evidence. Unlike the audit, which, okay, there are a lot of things that were found that were suspicious, but try and pinpoint it. Give me hard facts. They couldn't come up with hard facts.
Wow.
Correct?
Yep.
So now people are paying attention to this particular case.
That's good, though, that they're paying attention. I'm happy with that.
Well, me too. But I have, the way I just kept on repeating voter fraud for 20 years.
Right.
Now I'm changing the message I'm putting out there. It's, we have to tackle the establishment good old boys that have been not only promoting this, they have allowed it to flourish, and they've actually even financed it. We will not end voter fraud with the Democrats until we clean house within the Republican Party.
Well, they need to be exposed. If that's happening, they need to be exposed.
I think in the end, when this is all said and done, yes, there, and believe me, there is paper trail. There is documents.
Well, that's
hard proof.
That's actually exciting. If there's a paper trail, I get I'm kind of happy about that.
You know what's going to happen when they're exposed?
What?
What's going to happen when they're exposed? These people have blind followers, and they will be insulted. How dare David Latta expose, all these people when they are such members of the community, and they help this and they help that, and they are their leadership, and they help all these organizations, and they're involved with the community. That's what's going to happen. Instead of saying, oh my God, look what they've been. It's how dare he exposes, because look at all the good that these people have done.
Great people, except for that illegal activity. Yeah, right.
Oh, but I mean, if you look at any criminal, even criminals do good things.
Well, yeah, Hitler had the buses run on time, right?
You look at any criminal, and they do good things. They go to churches. They contribute with kids' sports. They donate to schools, and they donate to this and that.
From Taliban to Al Capone, absolutely, it's a tradition.
That is the best way to make a false image of a bad person, is to look good and to give to the needy and to programs in the community, and you have to build first an image of purity to be able to go very, very far with doing evil.
Hey, one of my listeners types that when all said and done, more will be said than done. Now, that's been the past. That's the history. You think this might be a little
Right,
different?
You know what? I can't predict the future. It is so strange how people react.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think that they would react in the correct way, and instead they get angry. And actually, yesterday I didn't have a chance to call in, but I want to call him because Mel was with you. I know he was with you.
Yeah.
But actually, Mel was one of the people that would mock me and ridicule me, and Mel is one of the people that would say, "Oh, put it behind you, forget it. You can't do anything about it. That's the way it is." He was actually one of them.
Well, I support Mel in those decisions.
Well, when he bashes you, Mel's a good guy, but he was actually one of them, and there's many like him.
Well, and I think
I
think most all those people, including Mel, believed it was such a small thing. It didn't make a big difference, but it did. It did make a difference.
Problem.
It did make a difference, and it made a difference in that it grew, that it escalated.
That is exactly. It grew so big that nobody thought it was going to get this big.
Yeah, right. No one believed it.
Nobody thought, except me. I knew. Every election I saw how much it was growing.
Well,
and it was growing in leaps and bounds. I mean, it wasn't just growing a little bit here. I mean, it was huge leaps and bounds that it was growing because they weren't stopped.
Right.
They were not stopped. One of the things that really made it bad, I mean, it was 10 years ago, the last census. The people working the census, at least in South County, I don't know about Yuma, but the people working the census, going door to door and working for the census, were the actual ballot harvesters.
Wow.
So guess what they were doing? They were getting paid by the census to work the census and gather data to harvest ballots for the Democrat Party.
That's just great use of your time. It's just terrible.
So and when I was looking at this, I'm thinking, oh my God, how this is going to be blown up. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
After 10 years ago, that's when it even exploded even worse, because you're paying the ballot harvesters to gather data to harvest more ballots.
Well, I'm excited that AP took it and ran with it, and it needs attention, and we need more people arrested and more people, because I'm tired of people, when you talk about voter fraud, they still ridicule everybody. They still, I mean, on a national level, there's nothing wrong in Maricopa. You guys are ridiculous. You're wasting money, and they spent most of a year blocking any investigation, saying there's nothing there. Then why are you blocking it?
That's the first red flag people should look at.
Yeah.
When there's a complaint filed, and it doesn't matter what it is, and you have blocking by either law enforcement or people in leadership or the people that can do something about it, and they're blocking it right there, they're telling you that there's something wrong.
Right. I mean, it's one thing to just look at you like, that guy's silly. Okay, go ahead and believe that. But to actively spend money, energy, and hire lawyers, you don't think it's silly. You think you're afraid of them finding something.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, it's something very important that I need to add also. I remember 2010, actually Ken Bennett, he did try. Ken Bennett was a very good secretary. He did. The rest of them, I tell you who was really worthless as secretary, Jan Brewer. Jan Brewer was just completely worthless.
She probably didn't believe you. She probably didn't think it was it was real.
I showed it to her. I explained it to her, and her eyes got really big and round, and then she turned around and walked away. Didn't give me an answer.
Oh, really?
Didn't give me it right. Well, in 2010, the Department of Justice came down to investigate the voter fraud that the complaint I had filed.
Right.
I met with them, so they were knocking on doors, et cetera, and I told them from the beginning, don't come here and waste your time and just come up with a dog and pony show to make believe that you're doing something. And I told them, if you're going to knock on doors and verify signatures, you're wasting your time, because the signatures, most of them, will be legit, because people are signing a ballot but it's blank, and they're handed it open.
Oh, and sometimes they receive a cash payment. I remember John Paul Plant
Yeah.
as running for judge when he knocked on doors. Well, how much are you giving?
Right. So yeah, exactly. So guess what they did?
What?
They knocked on doors and they asked people, "Is this your signature?" Exactly what I told them not to do.
And they did it.
Now it is and that's it. Right. And then in the end, we knocked on doors and we didn't find anything. And my God, that's what. That was Eric Holder. Remember, he was under Obama.
Right.
And that's when I started to realize, I'm thinking, my God, the Department of Justice is actually looking the other way when they know where to look and how to look, and they don't want to.
I don't believe Garland's going to be any better than Holder. I think Garland's going to be worse.
No. Oh yeah, definitely. Now here's one suggestion that I gave him. Well, there's the voting rights laws in 1965 and the constitutional rights and yada 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 yada. I said, fine. It's really, really simple. If you can't ask a voter how they voted.
Nope.
But then again, that's exactly what a poll does. When people do polls, they call the voters and they ask who they voted for. Okay.
Right.
So it's kind of funny. Then that means polls should be illegal. But anyways, what I told them is, when you talk to these voters, all you ask is, "Oh, well, you voted the last election. Can you tell us who the candidate was for mayor and city council?" They're not going to know.
Right.
When you vote, you know who you voted for. When you're handing open a blank ballot, you don't know who you voted for. And all you ask is, who were the candidates? And people will not be able to tell you, most of them.
Yeah.
They did not want to use that.
Well,
it was, is this your signature? Everybody said yes.
Well, of course. Well, they don't want to get involved in a controversy either. Probably they'd probably just collected $5 for selling it.
Oh, right. And every time I would talk to them, and I would tell them, they would give me this grin and a smirk.
Yeah.
And I knew what was happening. I mean, and that even made it more frustrating, and that actually gave me more of a drive to keep going. But my 21 years of actually chipping away, I would not have been able to do it if it wouldn't have been for the help of Gary Snyder.
Oh, really?
He was key. He was actually the key element that made it happen. If it wouldn't have been for him, nothing would have happened. Nothing.
Well, good for him and you. Hey, and I got to run, but thank you for your service.
Right,
and this is a service. I appreciate it. We need somebody that cares enough to do this. So.
Well, I'm just waiting for to this be over with, so all the evidence surfaces and people know who was really involved and how it's done.
We need you to work for James O'Keefe, Project Veritas,
Well, no, I'm actually working with True the Vote with Catherine Engelbrecht.
Good for you. All right.
They actually contacted right after the election. They contacted me.
Yeah.
And I've been working. We've been going back and forth with information with other states.
Oh, good. That's encouraging. It makes me feel better, to know somebody's working on it.
I'm on it.
Thank you, sir. You take care. Bye-bye.
You got it. All right, later.
David, Laura, working hard. We'll be right back. AM 560 KBLU.
In today's Farm and Ranch headlines from AgNet West, food safety training materials are now available online for leafy greens producers. More after this.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our determination, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is growing the next generation of leaders. Support us at 4h.org.
AgNet West Radio Network, your trusted agriculture news provider for the state of Arizona. Stay up to date with accurate local and national agriculture news on this station or by visiting us online at agnetwest.com. Get even more connected by following us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by searching at AgnetWest, and our team of Brian German at Brian German Agnet West and Danielle Leal with at D Leal Agnet West.
The Arizona Leafy Greens Food Safety Training Kit was developed based on a need to educate workers at the field level and encourage the industry to adopt uniform food safety handling practices. The topics in the training kit were developed in part using audit results to determine specific training needs of the leafy greens farming community. Since its inception, it's evolved into a fully engaging program that can be delivered in the field, in a classroom, or via video. The kit was originally released in 2011, with updates being made in 2014 and 2021. Hard copies of the updated kit will be provided to Arizona LGMA members and their growers this fall. The materials in the food safety training kit can be used by food safety professionals, harvest crew foremen, extension agents, and/or industry consultants who wish to conduct food safety training at Leafy Greens Farms. I'm Brian German for Agnet West Radio Network.
Lots of changes, dramatic changes, a hallmark of fall, and we are going to see that over the next 7 days. Well, we're starting out mild today, 91. Tomorrow's cooler, 87. Saturday, 84 the high. Refresh your wardrobe for fall with Banana Republic Factory. Everything's 40 to 70% off, including season favorites like soft sweaters, easy jeans, warm outerwear, and more. Find your nearest store or shop online only at Banana Republic Factory. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith from the Weather Channel.
Arizona Marketplace is Yuma's largest outdoor market, open to the public November 4th, accepting all vendors' applications now. Our clients are requesting products and services like kitchen supplies, golf equipment, handmade jewelry, massage therapists, pet grooming, nail salon, hair extensions, and more. Call now for your reservations at 928-328-1088 or visit azmktholdings.com. Arizona Marketplace.
Saturday, October 23rd, Bridget's Gift Western Dance and Barbecue is back at Coca-Cola Casino. It's Yuma's favorite charity event, featuring Gary Allen, with special guests Coffey Anderson, Bobby McClendon, Tanner Gomes, and more. Tickets are available at CocaPowerResort.com and Boot Barn. Bridget's Gift Western Dance and Barbecue is brought to you by these fine sponsors: Alexander Automotive Group, Sign Pro, and El Dorado Broadcasters.
It's the policy of KPLU to provide equal employment opportunity to all qualified individuals without regard to their race, color, religion, national origin, sex, age, disability, sexual orientation, or any other characteristic protected by law in all personnel actions. If your organization distributes information about employment opportunities to job seekers, please contact Star Favreau at KPLU by calling 928-344-4980 or write to her at our address, 755 West 28th Street, or check our website, kpluam.com, for more details.
At Batteries Plus, we do more than fix phones and tablets. We help our neighbors power their lives. Visit Batteries Plus in-store, curbside, and online for fast and reliable phone and tablet repair. Learn more at batteriesplus.com.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you, and Johnny's in studio. Nice to hear from David Laura.
Cool.
All that kind of stuff. We spent a half hour with him, but
Yeah.
man, I really wanted to know that stuff. Phone lines are open, 344-5258. Got a lot of news from my fact checker. I mean, Edward's been out of, he's not been able to help me much because, the people at work have said, no, you got to quit playing and get back to work. And, he's been having to, do financial stuff, which it's fine, I guess. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Russ. How are we doing?
We're doing well. Carl, good morning.
I guess I'm going to have to throw my 2 cents in for David Lawrence. Tell him personally thank you for doing what he does down there in San Luis.
You know what? You're exactly right. It is a public service as far as I'm concerned.
And you know what? He was right, because I've known David Laura for about 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And to listen to a lot of the higher ups in the Republican Party.
Yeah.
I heard those words from those people. And I know that the Republican Party never gave him any help down there in San Luis.
Oh no, but
none at all, hardly.
I kind
In
of
fact,
I sympathize with the Republican Party because David can be a pain in the butt. He's been a pain in the butt to me. He's called me on the show and accused me of not doing enough and accused me of stuff.
well,
and,
you deserved it.
well, yeah,
Well,
maybe
when you deserve
I can take a punch.
Yeah,
and I admire David. I do, even if he's
Yeah, I do
punching
too.
me. I don't care.
Well, he's punching in the right direction, Russ.
Yeah, I think so.
And the people that fought him the most are higher up people in San Luis and in our local governments.
Yeah.
Those are the people, and those are the people that were probably the biggest players in the whole thing. And so what David really did, he exposed, and I got to see it. I got to see it firsthand. So what David Lohr was telling you can take to the bank and cash the check because he was right.
Oh, well, I remember 10 years ago when he got, Garamena Fuentes testified 10 years ago to the U.S. Marshals, and I got a recording of that. And it was amazingly damning of a lot of people. And then she recanted at the end of it.
Yeah.
So this is not her first rodeo.
No.
Mm.
Well, and Gary Snyder, I see him stepping up. And that's the kind of people we need in our government to have. Well, say, hey, let's play the game fair. And that's all I'm really asking is, we're a capitalist society, and we need to play the game fair.
Yeah, I agree.
If you were playing the game of Monopoly, you wouldn't want the banker cheating.
Well,
if you were in Laughlin playing cards, you wouldn't want the dealer cheating.
Carl, how many people will tell you that voting is the most important thing we can do as Americans and it's sacred and all that kind of stuff? If it doesn't have,
I'm the first one.
If it doesn't have integrity in the system, it doesn't mean anything because your vote is negated. It's thrown out because somebody counting is changing the rules, and that's unfair. It's wrong. It offends me. And it is a sacred right, and it should be protected, and it should be legitimate, and it should have chain of custody, and it shouldn't be open to fraud.
Okay, and now on those ballots that the people they didn't know, all they need to do is start taking the fingerprints off those ballots, and they would have known what the hell was going on. Because David Lohr was right. That's where the trail went to. Because who touched that piece of paper?
Yeah. Well, see, now the people harvesting will be coming there with gloves on. Then you'll know it's wrong.
Well, I'm talking about the ballots they're done in our state right now. The ballot harvesting we had and all the extra ballots.
Yeah.
Fingerprint them and see whose fingerprints are on them.
Well, apparently they've pulled some fingerprints, according to David. I don't know how much or to what extent, but that's encouraging.
Too many.
That's encouraging.
So,
appreciate it, buddy.
So just remember. Bye.
See ya. Mr. Carl.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, some of my fact checkers sending me this morning, and Edward is always sending me stuff that's putting me in a coma of depression. Well, there's not good news on the horizon as far as the leadership policies, inflation that it's causing, oil prices that it's causing. I mean, all the policies and things are running right now are causing some pain today, but guaranteed more pain tomorrow. And everyone needs to know that. And it's hard to get into these conversations because there's so much politics and so much lies, so much, people say, well, no, the fact checkers are, look, use your head, pay attention, look at what's right in front of you. And I know people will jump up and down and, well, it's Trump's fault. No, shut up about all that. Look at the policies and what's going on.
Yeah, policies will tell it.
Just shut up. All of gas is up over $1 a gallon from when Biden took over. It's less than a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't take long, and he apparently right now Joe Biden is looking to take money out of the strategic oil supply to keep the price down, which works temporarily. To keep it from keep going. But all that does is make it more exasperated when that little trick runs out. And it's not going to last but a few months. But if you remember the oil reserves, and he reminded me this morning, Obama drained them in order to keep the price down for his election in 2012. So he drained the oil reserves because he could put all that free oil out there, oil that's already been paid for, and keep that price low so he can get through the election, and then never replenished it. Trump is the one that replenished it. And Trump replenished it when he got energy independence. We were pumping oil like crazy. And remember, oil went into even a negative at one time?
Mm-hmm.
He filled up all our oil reserves. Now, Biden is going to take that oil reserves that we put in for a rainy day and pump it out for political reasons just to keep the prices low right now for no reason in particular.
Well, they're definitely not low right now, but yeah, try to keep them
Keep them from escalating. Yes. Because he's cut off the energy independence. He's cut off the drilling. He's cut off fracking. He's cut off so much that people don't even feel yet because it takes a while to come. I mean, it's already coming. It's $1 a gallon, right?
Yeah, so it was like $3.19 here.
But he said that now they're going to have to replace that with much higher price oil. I mean, I think Trump got it at a price when it was negative. They probably paid the government to take the oil. And now it's going to be probably $90 a gallon to put it back, or $90 a barrel. I'm sorry, $90 a barrel to put it back. So what that's going to do is the prices will stabilize. They'll probably stay. What are they? $3.15 or so for us.
$3.19 now.
$3.19, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So they'll probably stay stable for a little while, but then OPEC and everyone will see that not only are you not energy independent, we don't even have a buffer reserve anymore. 1975 all over again. That's the same place we were. 75, and OPEC had a bunch of tankers offshore up in Delaware. I remember I lived in Delaware. I'd go out there fishing in a boat. I'd see all these tankers laying low in the water, full of oil, and yet there were lines at the pumps. And they were just waiting until the pain set in and the prices went up. And then the tankers would mosey on in and unload. Well, we're right back into that right now. Now, it's coming. Right now it's coming because we've shot ourselves. And now it looks like the EPA is going to shut down 3 of the refineries because they want to do an inspection. But you can't just shut a refinery down. See, refineries run 24/7. Once you light that fuse, you got to keep feeding it. You can't turn it off. You don't flip the switch off and say, let's go home, boys. They just keep running. Because to restart those things is ungodly expensive. And chances are, once they shut them down and inspect them for 16 days, they're going to say, okay, you can have it back. You can start them back up. They won't start them. It's too expensive. So that's going to create shortage of refined gasoline, which they'll bring in from offshore at a much
at a greater cost.
Yeah. So, and he's telling me all this, and I'm like, man, could you give me some good news, Mr. Fact Checker? It is Goldman Sachs said a likely release of crude oil from the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which could be up to 60 million barrels, only posed a $3 per barrel downside risk to year end, which is crazy. It's going to be more than that, I think. But yeah, keep sending me stuff. Oh, some European countries limit use of Moderna vaccine. You don't hear any negatives about the vaccine because you're not allowed to say negatives about the vaccine. Finland on Thursday joined Sweden, Denmark, and Norway in recommending against use of Moderna COVID-19 vaccine in younger age groups, citing risk of rare cardiovascular side effects. They said warranted the precautionary step. Well, I'm glad someone's taking a precautionary step, particularly amongst a group of individuals that don't really have an adverse effect to even COVID. Not only are they not getting it in very big numbers, they don't have adverse effects about it. And the deaths in those groups are smaller than the risk of taking the vaccine.
Oh, it's tremendously smaller.
And that whole oath of doing no harm, I mean, where did that go?
It's gone. It's gone. Somebody put money in somebody's pocket, and it's gone.
And I think the vaccine's great for the people that need it, that are infirm, that are older, that are at risk. But those people are old, like me. Wait, I'm not quite 80, but I mean, when you start getting into certain age groups, it gets very touchy. And then the vaccine makes sense to me.
Okay.
Somebody that's got heart disease, obese, diabetes, 80 years old. COVID-19 could be a death sentence, to them. So yeah, the vaccine makes sense, but to a 5-year-old or a 12-year-old that's athletic, in great shape, running around out in the playground, you say, stop, let me give you a vaccine that may harm you.
Mm-hmm. That may harm you. And that's what their studies, it looked like, shown. And I think some of those countries were doing it under 30. People under 30, they're not going to recommend the vaccine for.
Well, people under 30 still don't. I mean, you don't get into really numbers of adverse effects of COVID until much after that.
No, it's still at like a 99.8% survival rate. Yeah. So it's still.
So I read a story this morning that makes me think this is a political story. I don't know. I sent it to Edward. I haven't gotten a response yet from him. I mean, as far as he may not know any research any more than I know, but
let's hear it.
The article is COVID-19 survivors in danger of heart damage after infection. So this is another fear thing. Like, well, even though you've had the disease or you get the disease and you think, well, it can't hurt me. Think again, because you may have heart disease a years down the road that you wouldn't have otherwise. So this report says the study, and I don't know what study this is, found that non-hospitalized patients had a 39% increased risk of developing heart failure. Now, 39% is a big number.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to someone who has never been sick with the virus. The risk increases with the severity of the infection. Well, how have you been able to do an in-depth report in just a few months or a year that the disease has been out? It's beyond me, but okay, I'm glad they do it. But I don't trust anything anymore, Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and even the things I do trust, I want to verify.
Do you blame yourself for being skeptical?
No.
Right.
Because I'm not.
Do you blame anybody?
No. I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything.
And I know you're not.
But there's so many lies out there. You got to wade through them, and I spent a lot of time wading through them and trying to find them. But this is a risk increase with severity and all that. And Zayed Al-Ali, the director of the Clinical Epidermical Center for Veterans Affairs, St. Louis Healthcare, called these effects substantial. Well, I don't know what to believe. I don't know. They said they did some blood tests of COVID-19 patients, and they said there was an elevated levels of troponin, which is an indicator of damaged heart tissue. I don't know what to believe because they've been lying to us. I mean, Fauci lies to us regularly, and then he says afterwards, well, I had to lie because it was a good reason. Okay. All right, Fauci. Thank you very much for not trusting me to be, to understand. It's not good. None of this is good. So I don't know what to think of this. I think this is just more pressure. Get the vaccine, get the vaccine, get the vaccine.
It sounds
that's all we hear. And then other countries here are saying, we don't trust it for younger people. Where our country seems to be, can't we go down to 6-year-olds? Let's go to 12s. Let's go.
It seems very strange.
What are we doing?
Yeah, that does seem a little odd that we're trying to get younger and younger and just put this in people's bodies and
in some of the schools here in Yuma,
mandates and
kid coughs in class, going to send everybody home for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's
even if they test negative for COVID.
Yeah,
but I think there's some activism that goes on and some real fear too. I mean, some of these people are afraid to death because our media has made them afraid. So that whole fear thing is working to where, well, there's nothing we can do but trust the government. That's all that's left.
Ooh, that's scary.
That's where we are right now with some people. Not me. In fact, if anything, I've been trusting less and less, Johnny. The government is not doing things that's conducive to liberty and freedom. It's doing things to direct us into a socialistic CCP type authoritarian government that dictates what we need to do so we don't have to make decisions. And that's everything we're against as a country. But the left has been pushing us that way for a long time. But they've really got a foothold now.
It seems like they ramped it up, right? Doesn't it?
Blatantly and openly. And the lies, even with Biden yesterday on the, I think it was yesterday, just doesn't care about fact checkers because they've owned all the fact checkers now. They don't care. But he was yesterday ramping up again about, people are going to pay in the Border Patrol on the guys on horses that whipped those border. Well, look, enough information's out there now that none of that's true. He doesn't care. And then Kamala Harris is doing the same thing. Then that was yesterday.
Oh, that was yesterday.
Yeah,
they're still doing it.
Doing another round of it.
About the Border Patrol agents?
Yes.
Even though Al Jazeera, the people that took the picture said that
doesn't matter.
The people that took the picture said that didn't happen.
Doesn't matter. It's ramping up diversion from the immigration problem and placing it that we've got a Border Patrol agent problem.
Yeah, I don't know how.
And Kamala's referred to it again as something in our country that hasn't happened for hundreds of years since slavery. Are you kidding me?
It's a lot of my friends are on the left and Democrats, and I'm hearing this and I'm like, how could you vote or support these people like that would do that? That's horrible.
They continue. And, at first maybe they were just misinformed and made a mistake.
Yeah, then that happens. A picture comes out. You don't understand. You don't get the full picture. But
now
after they said that, the people that took the picture said, nope, didn't happen.
Now it's intentional, buddy. We'll be right back. AM 560.
Listen right here on 560 AM KBLU from 8 to 9 a.m. every Monday morning to Life, Death, and the Law, where Sean Garner and Adam Hansen discuss estate planning options. Spend Monday mornings 8 to 9 a.m. with Sean and Adam from Deason, Garner, and Hansen, and learn how you can plan your estate using a will or a trust to protect your family and secure your legacy. That's Life, Death, and the Law every Monday morning from 8 to 9. Right here on 560 AM KBLU.
When facing a life-limiting illness, choosing the right hospice provider can be confusing. Not all hospices are the same. When patients are just a number or a dollar sign, care just isn't what it should be. At Hospice of Yuma, their focus is on you. As the area's only nonprofit hospice provider, their mission is to serve and ensure that every patient and family gets the best care and support. Choose Hospice of Yuma for you and the care of your loved ones. To receive the best hospice service in Yuma County, call Hospice of Yuma at 343-2222.
Do you have slips, drips, or footing shifts? Come see my dad, Matt, at Team Ramco Transmission.
We have been a family-owned and operated business for over 25 years. We believe in honesty, professionalism, and supporting our troops. You can find us at 4701 East Gila Ridge Road, right off the interstate.
So when old dependable is not so dependable, come see my family at Team Ramco Transmission.
You can find us on Gila Ridge between Araby and 3E. So come in or give us a call, 928-344-5360.
There's never been a better time to switch to Spectrum Mobile. You could save hundreds of dollars on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator today, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you could save by switching. Visit spectrummobile.com/save. Spectrum Internet required. Savings may vary. Restrictions apply. Visit spectrummobile.com/save for details.
Hey guys, there is some important news that all men should take very seriously. Your prostate health. Are you urinating more frequently? Are you waking up at night to urinate? Are you sick and tired of prostate pills that just don't work? Sound familiar? If you are one of the millions of men with prostate problems that are driving you nuts, there is some great news. Prostagenics is the all-natural product that beat over 157 other prostate supplements in lab tests and was rated the #1 most powerful prostate supplement in the world. #1, because it works. So why not try some Prostagenics, and your prostate troubles will be a thing of the past. You'll get a great night's sleep and stop waking up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. To get your free bottle of Prostagenics, call now, 800-600-2020. That's 1-800-600-2020. Take advantage of our 90-day money-back guarantee. Call 800-600-2020. Do it now.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. Johnny's in studio.
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you how good a fact checker Edward is, and the fact that his office staff is leaving him alone today, obviously. Thank you, Carrie. But I sent him in that story about the COVID-19. If you have it, increases your chance of heart problems by 39% or something, which is stupid. He said the story you sent about the study is a long-term study that only brought COVID-19 into it the last minute. The study does not conform to the requirements of medical studies under NIH's guidelines, require that cardiac studies must have a set study timeline of at least 75 months. The study is deemed observational and not a medical program. It took a little time to gain access to the data set. So he's kind of apologizing that it took him 10 minutes instead of 2.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, because he has access, or he knows how to get into things. I don't know. He must know the dark web or
wow,
something.
That's interesting.
And so but it's put out there in the media as a study, which is factual. It is a study, but it doesn't bring in the fact that it doesn't conform to medical. It's considered observational. And they come up with their very specific number. It's not around 40%. It's 39%. Sounds like it's a very, it comes from a statistical data that's precise. But it's not even a real study.
Jeez.
It's observational. That's wonderful, right? But that's the stuff we're inundated with every day now, right?
Yeah, fear.
And we have a call coming up in 10 minutes.
Who do we got?
It's a Jim. Let me see, Jim Lamon, Lamon. Lamon. I don't know. I'll find out when he calls. He is a running for Senate, I think. So he will be at the Colorado River Tea Party this evening, and we're going to talk to him. I've never spoke with him, but Gilbert helped set that up and everything, and we'll have him on and talk to him. Cool. Here at 7:05. So in about 10 minutes, he'll be calling in, and which will be. Another one wrote in, South County corruption. Thank Tony Reyes. Look, if something's happening in South County, Tony's involved. I don't care what that is. But he's watched that community grow. He's been instrumental in helping it grow. Doesn't mean he's not been involved in some corruption. Perhaps he is. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no information that he is or isn't. But usually if it moves down South County, Tony Reyes is involved. But I like him. He's done a lot of good things. Now, if he has done something he shouldn't be doing improper, then, shame on him. And you get caught, you're in trouble, right? Only got a couple minutes. Phone lines are open if you have a quick comment, but it's 344-5258. After I talk to Jim at the top of the hour, I want to talk a little about, inflation more, and we talk a little bit about the gas, but there's more. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Oh, Russ, first of all, who was that guy that was on earlier?
David Laura.
That was talking about voter fraud?
Yeah, he's been working South County for years.
Oh, that was David? Oh,
yeah, and he's on the high school board, too. Yeah.
Okay, second of all, I'm hearing different things, but how long is the Yuma County Fair going to run this year? Somebody said it's going to go 2 weeks, and then Chris said, no, it's just a week. Your buddy Chris over there at the Precision. You have any idea how long it's running for?
Well, I know there's one coming up this month. You know that, right?
Right, the Yuma County Fair, right?
Yeah,
it says the 15th through the 23rd.
I mean, did you beat me to it?
Yeah. I beat you to it.
Because somebody said, it's going to run 2 weeks. And I says, no, that's not what I heard. Somebody had read that.
15th to 23rd. Well, that's more than a week, It's a week and a day or 2 days,
Right.
So 15th to the 23rd. That's exactly what I got.
And last but not least here, now we see that families are going to be deemed domestic terrorists because they're questioning the school boards about what they're teaching and what they don't want them to teach them on the critical race and all that. So that Attorney General Merrick Garland they're gonna deem people like that domestic terrorists, huh?
Correct.
Because you care about your children.
Well, no, because the school board feels threatened that the parents might want to have some input in how their children are taught, teached.
Yeah.
That means I need to go back.
Well, I'll tell you, this administration hates the people of this country to do something like that. So horrible.
Well, I think
people
you're
are really concerned about what's being taught to their children, and they want to know what's going on. And there's certain things they don't want them to teach, and I don't blame them.
And I think your conclusions I agree with. I think they don't want you involved. I think they want to take control of your kids 100%. It's no longer a stealth thing, Ronnie. It's in the open. Hey,
So
I got to take.
now- so now-
I'm done with. I've got to go. End of the hour, man. I got to run.
Gotcha.
Take care, buddy. Bye bye. We'll be back with Jim Lehman after this. AM 560, KBLU.
From the 1 hour air conditioning and heating studio, this is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.
Pfizer wants to jab more kids. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. It hopes to give the COVID vaccine to even younger children. Fox's Evan Brown has the update live.
Yeah, Dave, Pfizer and BioNTech have now officially filed their request to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for an emergency use authorization for their COVID-19 vaccine to be used on children as young as 5 years old. Their data purports to show children developing robust coronavirus immunity with 2 rounds of a lower dose vaccine. Pfizer's vaccine is only approved for ages 16 and up. It's currently authorized for emergency use in kids 12 to 15. The FDA's vaccine board will discuss it on October 26th, Dave.
Evan, President Biden will go to Illinois today to tout COVID vaccine mandates.
Ahead of the trip, a White House official says they're releasing a new report that says vaccine requirements are putting people back to work and helping spark the economy.
Fox's Jill Nato. A new mandate in Los Angeles next month will require proof of vaccination for anyone going out to eat or to a gym or a movie or most indoor places. Could be challenged in court as some battle the mandates, like an anesthesiologist removed from UCLA Medical Center for not getting a COVID vaccine.
Dr. Christopher Rake said as he walked away from his job, quote, "This is what happens when you stand up for freedom. This is the price you have to pay sometimes. I'm willing to lose everything, job, paycheck, freedom, even my life for this cause."
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in L.A. There's a deal being worked in the Senate, brokered by Republican leader Mitch McConnell, to push the debt limit deadline off to December.
I don't think that this deal that McConnell is offering is a good deal.
Democratic Congressman Jim Clyburn. Some Republicans don't like it either. Congressman Greg Steube tells Fox,
I just don't understand why we would help the Democrats when they've been in control of the House, the Senate, and have the White House since January.
America's listening to Fox News.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Local news from hdailynews.com is brought to you by Bridget's Gift. Help us help our Yuma friends fighting breast cancer by joining us for our 10th annual Western Dance and Barbecue at Coca-Cola Casino featuring Gary Allen.
Here's the news in 60 seconds, YumaDailyNews.com. Fire Prevention Week marches on this week with cooking fire safety from the Yuma Fire Department. Read all about it on our website. A piece of golden era Hollywood history in Yuma could have burned to the ground. Find out how the historical location was saved, YumaDailyNews.com. The city of Yuma is hosting their 5th binational bike ride. Find out more info at YumaDailyNews.com. A heartbreaking video is on our website. Watch the story of a migrant who suffocated in 111-degree heat to make it across the border. Hear what the man had to say about the horrifying journey. Spooky season is in full swing, and the scary and safe trick-or-treat is returning to the fairgrounds this Halloween from 4 to 8 p.m. Admission is $1 per person or the Fast Pass for $5. All proceeds will be donated to the Arizona Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics. Send your ideas for local stories to newsroom at YumaDailyNews.com. That's the news. I'm Andrew Caravella.
Saturday, October 23rd, Bridget's Gift Western Dance and Barbecue is back at Coca-Cola Casino. It's Yuma's favorite charity event, featuring Gary Allen, with special guests Coffee Anderson, Bobby McClendon, Tanner Gomes, and more. Tickets are available at CocaColaResort.com and Boot Barn. Bridget's Gift Western Dance and Barbecue is brought to you by these fine sponsors: Nutrient Ag Solutions, RDO Equipment Company, and ABC5.
Want your business advertising to work for you now and in the future? Expand the universe you reach. Expanding your sphere of influence will not only bring you new customers, but also reinforce your business brand with those already part of your loyal tribe. You can do that with free over-the-air broadcast radio, which means more people every day than television, billboards, or social media. Sign up for our free business e-tips and learn how to reach more people more often with the power of this radio station at yumaadvertising.com.
Explore the great outdoors this fall with Coca-Cola Casino. Each drawing, you have the chance to win great outdoor prizes, cash, or rewards play. Drawings every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday through October 29th. On October 30th, one lucky winner will ride away with a 2021 Forest River travel trailer. Earn entries daily by playing your favorite slots and table games with your rewards card. For complete rules, see the Coca-Cola Casino Rewards Club. Winning is just around the corner at Coca-Cola Casino and Resort, South Highway 95 in Somerton.
Yuma Collectors West Gun and Knife Shows is back this Saturday and Sunday at the Yuma Civic Center with their big gun and knife show. You'll find all your favorite vendors along with dealers new to the area. Find rifles, custom knives, ammo, pistols, scopes, and reloading supplies. The best brand names at the best prices. Bring your guns to sell, trade, or have appraised. Tickets are just $8. For more information, see us at collectorswest.com. Experience the best gun and knife show in Yuma this weekend at the Yuma Civic Center. Don't miss it.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. Johnny's in studio with me.
Here.
Of course, I'm not going to talk too much because I have a phone call.
All right.
Jim Lamont is on the phone. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Russ. Doing great this beautiful Arizona morning.
Well, I want to let everybody know it is Senate that you're running for, U.S. Senate, which I talked to you just briefly on the phone. That's a tough duty to run statewide for Senate. You're going to have to drive around and meet a lot of folks.
Russ, loving it. Been doing this now for about 20 weeks.
Okay.
We're averaging a little over 850 miles a week, brother. We're loving getting out.
Yeah.
Meeting with the folks, and I'm a hands-on guy, right? Built my own company and engineering construction, building big power plants, and I like being out in the field. I like hearing from the people. Russ, it's amazing how united the people are, both Republicans and independents.
Wait a minute, that can't be true. I listened to the news last night, and they said that's not true.
Yeah, the news. Yeah, that's part of our problem we have to fix.
It's an amazing part of the problem, Jim. It's amazing that the press has been so corrupted in such a short time. It's shocking to me. I wouldn't have believed it could have happened 5 years ago.
It's also part of the American culture, Russ, how people commercially we can change in this country. I look with the consultants I have relative to being up on air and things of that nature, and how much audience these left-wing media outlets have lost in the last 2 years or last year alone.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're out on all the platforms from, of course, the usual Facebooks, but also Rumble, Getter. We're on everything, and just seeing huge following ramping up in this race, Russ.
That's great. Let's talk about some of the things you're running. U.S. Senate, you'll be running against Mark Kelly, of course. Who he's been quiet. I don't hear much about or from him at all. He's in the basement, I guess. But
if I were casting those votes, I'd hide, somewhere under the basement. The guy has voted for mandatory CRT in our educational system and military. The guy has voted for. He has voted for making voter ID illegal, not legal, illegal. I don't know what part of Beijing this guy actually resides in, when he's home, but it's certainly not Arizona.
But Jim, it's not untypical of the modern left right now. They seem to have been completely co-opted by the extreme progressives.
They have, and it's one of those things of, follow the money.
Yeah.
If you look at his funding from the Soros Open Society type of organization, that's why our border is open to the world,
right,
and why they want to take our educational system down, not up, to levelize it, with the rest of the globe. I'm fortunate, Russ. I am not taking a single lobbyist dollar, PAC dollar. I'm not taking a salary. I'm going to donate it. I'm not taking a pension. These are the things that I just believe that to be a true statesman and not be owned by anyone, or any organization, we have to do.
And that's not too common, but God bless you, and that's great. Some of the things that I saw on your website that, and I want to talk about what you find important, but immigration is obviously important to you because you took the time to put it up front.
Very much so, Russ. If we don't have border security and control of our borders, we don't have a country. I am very blessed that the National Border Patrol Council, Brandon Judd, Holman, Morgan, the entirety of 21,000 agents on that border have endorsed me. The earliest endorsement ever. We're coordinating with them once a week in terms of the policy that I need to drive home in the U.S. Senate. Russ, my goal is, it's so important not to allow a single piece of legislation across my desk in the U.S. Senate until we have secure both southern and northern borders.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get that secure. We also bring some transparency now because our media doesn't even tell us what's going on. We have no idea, and we're right here on the border. I see, I've, friends that I can talk to that work the situation that are frustrated down here. We are being invaded and overrun.
We're absolutely. 250,000 was the total last year. We're on a run rate for 2.5 million this year. And guys, just for perspective, that's almost 2 cities of Phoenix coming across that the taxpayers have to bear that burden. And God knows the hypocrisy of the disease and the COVID and the versus trying to mask mandate, for our kids in school.
Since you mentioned COVID, it seems to be such a disparity across the nation of how we handle it, from Florida, to California, totally different. And yet the results, even in Florida, are better than California. And, they're not wearing masks. They're back at work. They're working on their economy. The red states have an economy that's crumbling, that's looking for the federal government, which is us, to buy them out because they have, committed suicide, economy-wise, under the COVID restrictions, which they think are necessary, that aren't working.
Russ, totally agree. The wealth transfer of Biden and Mark Kelly's original $1.5 trillion they passed, which of course the burden is going to be borne by the red states and our kids and grandkids, simply to go to the blue states with their inefficiency and their government takeover. It's just criminal.
It is criminal, and I don't know. You see some of this COVID-19 relief package, which was so huge, is going things for like building or buying apartments for homeless people in San Francisco and stuff. It's just obscene the way that the people are grabbing this money and enriching their states, their cities, their towns. That has nothing to do with the programs that even the Congress passed. As they're changing the rules as it goes.
Plus, no accountability. I believe at the core, what we have to do is take the $3.5 trillion that we as hardworking taxpayers are sending to Washington and say, we have to live within that amount of money that we're sending. We can't keep borrowing. When we prioritize and get the budget back under control, then you'll see a lot of this craziness go away just because we don't have this endless debt that's being put on our kids and grandkids for them to do whatever the heck they want to do.
I don't think we pass.
We
don't pass budgets anymore. It's just continuing resolutions and things. It's too hard to pass a budget. But so you're a balanced budget type advocate then.
Absolutely. I've said on the website and say in meetings and all, I will never vote positively for any debt increase. We have way too much today. We've got to start living within our means. And my goal, if it's very briefly, Russ, if you take when Gingrich and Clinton balanced the budget just before 9/11, it was $2 trillion. If you escalate that, you get to $3 trillion today. All right, we were doing pretty good back in those days as well. these guys, these clowns in Washington are talking about $6.5 trillion. No need for it. Stop it. I will, as I said, not be owned by lobbyists. I'm going there for the people of Arizona. I'm not owned by anybody. This is about getting things done in the Senate that have never, it just all of a sudden become, we don't do those things anymore. Well, by golly, we do it in business. We do it at home. We're going to start doing it back again in the federal government, and I'll make sure it happens.
As a veteran, how do you feel about the way we withdrew from Afghanistan?
Yeah, absolute disaster. Good friend of mine, son was there, a Navy SEAL commander, and as he said, it's what happens when you turn military operations over to the State Department. This operation was not run by the military. They just simply went along at the woke level, at the general level, whatever State Department told them. You could see absolutely no military direction there in terms of taking the military out before the civilians. I think it was intentional, the way that Soros owns people at the highest levels of the Democratic side of the equation, to have left $80 billion worth of equipment, to have given up Bagram, which is a strategic air base very close to China. This didn't happen by accident, Russ.
China's already occupied Bagram, just so you know, but they're already there.
Exactly.
And
absolutely.
that equipment, it's $80 billion, but more than that, it's some of the latest technology that we have to offer that's secret. I mean, if you were in the military and took a picture of it and sent it to a friend, you'd go to the brig. We gave it to the Russians and to China. And it's already gone. I mean, it's being sold by the Taliban. They can't operate most of it.
Russ, I served our country 6 years as a paratrooper and engineer officer. Front lines 3 of those years. And I can tell you that our military below the general level is still very strong. Yeah. They are up for the task. We just simply have to purge the ranks at the general level. Obama did it, and that's what we're seeing the result of. We got to go back to good old American troops that know what it is to protect this country, and they would never, ever agree to let the State Department run that operation. They would never, ever let $80 billion worth of latest American technology go into enemy hands.
Has the selection of generals become so political that they're just part of a party now?
Well said. The other part of it, the root cause is the Command and General Staff College is run by consultants who are hired by the DOD, which is run by federal agencies, people that are not accountable to us.
Okay.
And again, Russ, that's all about getting this budget tightened up. So these people have to live within their means and start getting back to the basics instead of polluting the both our military institutions, our schools, et cetera, with all this woke business and socialism and Marxism that we're seeing.
So you don't consider yourself woke at this point?
I am very woke for American patriotism. I can tell you that, brother. Well, America first.
I like
to get back to that.
I like to refer to that as awake versus woke, but it's amazing where we've come so rapidly. We need some people to put the brakes on, Jim. Are you a guy that's got to be a brakeman?
Russ, amen to that. I'm not giving up a year and a half of my life to do this run in 2 terms, which I've signed the pledge limit to only do 2 terms, 12 years there, to do anything other than every damn day is help save this country, get it back to what our kids and grandkids will have a shot at that American dream. And Russ, I give you optimism. I give your listeners hope here. Again, I'm all over the state. I'm out there every day. Of course, we'll actually be in Yuma this afternoon.
Right.
And what I am seeing is a turnout like no other. I asked the organizers, what was it like a year ago this time? Jim, we're up about 40% in attendance. Last night, great group here. It's just the enthusiasm, and I'm going to lead it. I'm strong. I'm going to make sure that we get this country back, brother. I just need everybody's help to get there.
Well, I know you're going to be with the Tea Party this evening at 6:00 out there at the Christian Church on 16th Street, as always. And I'm going to try to break away. I've got dance class, Jim. I'm going to dance. I don't dance myself. Thank goodness it's my 4-year-old granddaughter. But if I have to, I'll bring her. But it's refreshing to meet somebody that's a patriot again and not just a politician. And wearing both hats sometimes seems to be difficult for some.
Well, it's been a blessing, Russ. Played a little linebacker for Coach Bryan at Alabama. I said military paratrooper, and then been in the engineering construction business of $1 billion coal plants, gas plants, solar plants, every one of which, by the way, was built on time, on budget. That steeled me for this job. It's a tough task to take on Soros, Kelly, this whole Democratic Marxist machine. But by golly, Russ, I'm up for it. So, I need the help of the people, but we'll take this country back.
So you played football in Alabama, and what, you couldn't get into Tennessee or something? Or?
Well said. I was fortunate to be recruited around the country, and there's only one place to go.
Well, I appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you tonight, Jim. Thanks for what you do, and best of luck, and I'll hopefully see you tonight.
Absolutely, Russ, and God bless you and your listeners, and let's all join together here. Jim Lamon, LAMON.com. Let's take back this country, brother.
You got it, buddy.
Thanks,
Take
Russ.
care, man. Bye-bye. We'll be right back. AM 560, KBLU.
Ag Business Update from AgNet West. A new partnership that was recently announced will allow select ag tech startups to access an on-farm testing network to test new sustainable solutions at scale. More after this.
You're going to need me. You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
Support us at 4h.org.
AgNet West Radio Network, your trusted agriculture news provider for the state of Arizona, bringing local, statewide, and national headline news right to you on this radio station. Let our team of Danielle Leal,
budget revisions put surplus to good use for agriculture,
and Brian German,
salmonella outbreak report points to adjacent land use,
keep you informed here, weekdays over the radio airways, on our Farm City Newsday podcast, or online at agnetwest.com.
The Wells Fargo Innovation Incubator, known as N2, has partnered with the Farmers Business Network to help support ag tech startups in testing their products and solutions on real working farms. N2 is a technology incubator and platform funded by the Wells Fargo Foundation and co-administered by the U.S. Department of Energy's National Renewable Energy Laboratory. The Farmers Business Network is a technology-enabled, direct-to-farm commerce, community, and sustainability platform aimed at helping farmers maximize their profit potential. With support from the Donald Danforth Plant Science Center, current and future participants in the N2 program will be able to test their new sustainable ag tech solutions at scale across up to hundreds of acres of farms within the FBN network. On-farm testing can provide much-needed insight into performance of new innovations in realistic scenarios across a range of environmental conditions and farming practices. The first participants will be selected this fall from a pool of 16 startups currently enrolled in the program, with the first on-farm testing to begin during the 2022 crop season. I'm Brian German for AgNet West Radio Network.
I'm Lou Dobbs. PepsiCo raising its guidance due to surging sales. 90% of builders say they're short on materials. Those stories next. Mike Lindell, the inventor and CEO of MyPillow, wants to give back to our listeners. You can get great discounts on all MyPillow products if you go to MyPillow.com right now and click on the radio listeners specials. Get deep discounts on MyPillow's mattress toppers, towels, and so much more. For example, Mike is offering a buy one, get one free offer on Giza sheets. My wife and I love these Giza sheets, and I'm sure you will as well. All MyPillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. Go to MyPillow.com and click on the radio listener specials for the buy one, get one free offer on Giza sheets. Enter promo code Dobbs or call 1-800-977-9152 for these great specials. That's 1-800-977-9152. Use promo code Dobbs. Even as home builders face pressure to construct more residents due to tight inventories, shortages of key construction materials are forcing companies to hunt for alternative supplies. More than 90% of home builders say shortages of framing lumber and engineered wood hamper their ability to meet demand and a rising cost of building projects. On Wall Street today, stocks closed higher. The Dow once down more than 400 points, closing out at 103 points higher on the Dow. Confidence that there will be a deal on the national debt ceiling. PepsiCo says higher demand for beverages and snacks causing sales to surge, and therefore the company raising its guidance for the remainder of the year. I hope you'll join me right here 3 times each weekday. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you. Johnny's in studio.
Mm-hmm.
Want to say also Hyundai of Yuma. They are advertisers on the show. And I didn't talk to them about top of the hour. Usually I try to do it top of the hour. But get over to that veteran-owned business on 32nd Street. Take a test drive. And get in that new truck if you can do it. It's the hottest selling in the United States as far as vehicles, new vehicles. It's average time on in a dealer's hands is only 8 days. Dealer gets it, they got to prep it, clean it, wash it, put it out on a lot, do all that kind of stuff, get it ready, let you test drive it, and then run it through sales. To turn it around 8 days, I guess that's pretty amazingly fast. So it's gonna be hard to get your hands on one. Get over there and see what you can do. But a lot of great cars, a lot of great equipment sitting over there at Hyundai of Yuma. From the Accent up to the Palisade, America's best warranty, 5 years, 60,000 miles, 10 years, 100. And on the phone, I have Gilbert. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Russ. Johnny, how y'all doing?
Good morning, Gilbert.
Good, man.
You have a very, very, one more very active show today.
I hope so.
It was great. from David Laura, and I'm going to hit on some points here real quick.
Okay.
David Laura is correct. I was a poll watcher in South County for a few elections. And one of the interesting things that I can ditto with Dave is we had a voter come in, and what he did was circle the D on the names, not the names, but the D for Democrat. And what happened, they told him he had no idea what he was voting for, who he was voting for. They told him outside, go inside, and when you vote, you circle all the D's.
Oh, okay. So he physically circled them.
He physically circled the D's. And, of course, he had to have a provisional ballot. So Dave's correct. A lot of people go in there not knowing who they're voting for or why they're voting. They just send them in there. I mean, I saw that firsthand. I have experience. Carl and I, we've seen people out there during the voting, they have hamburger stands and taco stands and menudo stands. And people come in there, and we've seen them help people fill out their ballots.
Yeah.
We've seen it. So Dave is correct on what he's saying about what's going on in South County. And thank God he exposed a lot of it. And yes, he was ridiculed a lot. And I used to laugh, and I used to tell him, Dave, it's not what you're saying, it's your delivery. So that's the problem, is the delivery.
Well,
but him and Gary are doing a pretty good job.
Yes, they are. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Jim Lehman is going to be at the Colorado River Tea Party tonight, 6 p.m. at Community Christian Church on Highway 95, 6 p.m. in the back building. I've been pretty busy lately. I'm getting as busy as you. Yesterday I was with Coffee with the Cops.
Yeah.
What a great
I saw that.
turnout.
I appreciate you sending me that video, man. And looks like you're out mixing with the right people.
Yeah, it was, and the chief was there, the LT was there, Sergeant Franklin was there, and Ms. Fernandez, who was the representative for communications yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal.
Good.
Phenomenal. It was all good. And one more thing, I read something yesterday. I don't know how true it is. It would not surprise me. They're talking about taxing the head of cattle, $2,400 for taxes, and $500 per pigs.
I don't understand. You mean if you raise them yourself or something?
No, we're talking about our ranchers charging they want taxes, more taxes.
For every pig on the ground, they want to charge for inventory or something? What?
Yep, and cattle. So if it's true, what they're trying to do is force the rancher out of business.
Why?
And for China, my own conspiracy theories. is for China. China's buying up a lot of goods, a lot of. I don't have the list in front of me, but China has bought a lot of businesses up in the United States. Not only land, but businesses. Yeah, I believe this is their reach, the one world government.
Well, we ought to tax them, you know.
Well, yeah, but what's scary is it's not on the front page. And like I said, I just saw a blurb on it, and I went back to look for it. I couldn't find it because I'm not computer-wise. But people need to pay attention. China's fingers are everywhere in the United States. They're buying up land like crazy.
Right.
Because we owe them. Oh. And people need to pay attention. And a person like Jim Lehman, what he wants to do for us, pay attention. Let's get everything we need to know about him, and let's vote correctly. Let's vote smart.
All right. 6 o'clock tonight over at the Christian Church there on Araby, right?
Community Christian Church on Highway 95 between 3E and Araby Road.
There you go, buddy. Appreciate the call. Take care.
Bye.
Yeah, a few things from my fact checker, Johnny.
What's that?
Let me see here. The White House considers it false to say they abandoned military hardware. Remember I said abandoned? He likes to point that out to me, that the White House says it's false. He says it was given to the Afghan army and they surrendered it. So they abandoned it.
Yeah.
It was abandoned in July. And then in August, they said, we're giving it to the army. Well, it was already in the hands of Taliban by then, it was already gone. They just abandoned it. The army didn't surrender. The army never saw it. I don't think the army knew, because nobody knew they were leaving Bagram. The Allies didn't know. Just in the morning, there was a ghost town. Bagram was like, well, where'd everybody go? Everything's still sitting where it was. Everything was just still there, but no peoples. Just in the middle of the night, literally, they just jumped on planes and took the heck off and left all the equipment sitting there: guns, rifles, ammunition, Humvees, helicopters, airplanes, you name it. Everything's just sitting there.
Yeah.
And said, come get it. Come get it. Anybody. First come, first serve.
There's something going on.
I still call that abandoned, Edward. The White House and the Southern Poverty Law Center have stated that the term invaded, which I also used, he tries to help me, Edward, in regards to the border, is a racist and false. The White House. And see, this is the White House saying that. Okay, and I think they're politically motivated to say it to keep people from,
of course,
seeing the truth, but that's fine. The White House stated that the border visitors are the most patriotic Americans seeking to live the American dream. Oh, they're better than us. I think the White House prefers them over us.
Of course they do.
Like they're better Americans than we are.
Yeah.
And they don't even know where they are. But another fact check here, which I don't disagree with this one. Well, and I don't disagree with Edward's fact checking. His fact checking is correct. I disagree with the White House for saying it. That's their viewpoint. I disagree with their viewpoint. The National School Board Association argued this week that parents are engaged in domestic terrorism. Parents, which would allow parents to be removed on the spot and or from their homes via no-knock warrants at any time. And that's what Eric Garland's getting done right now, is labeling them as terrorists because they don't agree with critical race theory. Can you believe that they called Trump a emperor wanting to do, take over and all that kind of stuff. And it never was Trump. It was Biden. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Yeah, real quick. First, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
And do you know anything about our Border Patrol flying over 4th Avenue and 16th Street area in their helicopter?
No, but that's awesome. So they got some Blackhawks around there, or those little ones?
Well,
yeah.
They got their little white one flying around in that area with a couple of police vehicles out that direction. So wondering if we maybe had a stash house or somebody let a bunch of illegals off and then run.
I have not heard, but if anybody does know, please call in and we'll be listening for it because that sounds dangerous. If they got the helicopters looking for somebody, there's something they don't like out there that poses a threat, I would assume. So
yeah, he was sitting there for a while, then circled, and then dove off in a different direction. So if anybody knows, let us know.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Bye-bye. We need to take a break. Be right back. AM 560, KBLU.
Some clouds heading our way ahead of the next wave of low pressure, but no rain through the weekend. Today, we're partly to mostly cloudy. 91 this afternoon. Tomorrow, sunny and cooler. 87 tomorrow. Refresh your wardrobe for fall with Banana Republic Factory. Everything's 40 to 70% off, including season favorites like soft sweaters, easy jeans, warm outerwear, and more. Find your nearest store or shop online only at Banana Republic Factory. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith from the Weather Channel.
Hey, what's up? I'm Aaron Lewis. Join Big and Rich, Eddie Montgomery from Montgomery Gentry, and myself on Saturday, November 6th at the Ak-Chin Pavilion to remember and honor our veterans.
Join Aaron Lewis, Big and Rich, and Eddie Montgomery's Salute to American Veterans, Saturday, November 6th at the Ak-Chin Pavilion. Tickets are on sale at Ticketmaster.com.
God bless the USA.
Explore the great outdoors this fall with Coca-Cola Casino. Each drawing, you have the chance to win great outdoor prizes, cash, or rewards play. Drawings every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday through October 29th. On October 30th, one lucky winner will ride away with a 2021 Forest River travel trailer. Earn entries daily by playing your favorite slots and table games with your rewards card. For complete rules, see the Coca-Cola Casino Rewards Club. Winning is just around the corner at Coca-Cola Casino and Resort, South Highway 95 in Somerton.
The Border Report brought to you by RV World, located on Gila Ridge Road. Exit Interstate 8 on Araby Road, then head west on Gila Ridge about a quarter mile. RV World, Yuma's premier recreational vehicle dealer since 1991, offering a large selection of new and used RVs. Here are the latest wait times for passenger vehicles in the standard lanes at our selected ports of entry. Algodones is a 20-minute wait, 2 lanes open. The same story at Calexico East, 20 minutes, 2 lanes open. Calexico West is an hour wait, 8 lanes open. It's 2 hours to cross this morning at San Luis with 2 lanes open. Get updated border reports anytime at yumadailynews.com.
You may be right. I may be crazy.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark back with you. Johnny Porter's in studio with me.
I'm here.
And I have David Perez on the phone. Good morning, David. How are you?
Hey, great, Russ. How you guys doing this morning?
Well, I hear there's a helicopter out circling around, and you think they're looking for you. No. Okay, good. Hey, and
right.
and I didn't tell everybody you were calling this morning. But let me tell everybody why. But I decided, what was it been, Johnny? 3 weeks ago, I decided.
About 3 weeks.
I'm going to follow you into the gym a little bit to get back into health conscious. Look, I put on too much weight. I can't walk around the block as fast as the dog. I need to get back into a physical shape that I'm proud of and everything. And worry about my health. I turned 64 and I realized that I'm going the wrong way, and I'm going to be a couch potato. So David, it's in your hands now. To make sure. Am I in good hands?
Well, you are in great hands. I think that I like potatoes though, so
okay.
Kind of a mixed emotions there.
Well, yeah, sitting on the couch isn't bad sometimes, but it's detrimental to the things I want to do, which is get to know my grandkids when they get older. And so I'm concerned about the health. Now you run the dojo down the street. That's a Taekwondo dojo, but you do a lot more than that. You do self-defense and kickboxing. You do a lot more than just the Taekwondo.
Yes.
And how often do you run programs outside that? I mean, I like self-defense programs and stuff.
Oh, we run them on case-by-case situations or case-by-case basis. We run groups, scheduled groups, we're in full operations at any point that we hold any of our programs. So, a monthly basis, weekly basis.
So it's as much of people just need to get a hold of you and talk to you, and you do them for organizations, clubs, those kind of things.
Correct.
Now the I went to you with Johnny, and I know you've known Johnny for a few months now. It's been coming in the gym, but I came in with a specific that I wanted to lose weight because I use that as a benchmark to my tackling my health situation. Those are hand in hand a little bit, but really I'm concerned about health, getting stamina up, being able to do things I want to do, hike the Grand Canyon again. those kind of things. And man, you're killing me, Dave.
Well, we don't want to kill you, Russ.
That's good, but it's intense, you know. You know, I joined a group that you've got that's just doing like and that's just considered kickboxing, right?
That's correct. It's kickboxing.
Of course, no one's hit me in the face yet, and I appreciate that, and I thank you. But that's not what it's really about. I mean, this is endurance, coordination, timing. At least that's what I see after just 3 weeks. And it's intense, and it doesn't mean I can't walk away. I do. When my heart rate gets up, I'll walk away a little bit and then join back in. But it's been enjoyable. Like I'm looking forward to it, and it's kind of weird because as much pain as I was in the first week, you wouldn't think that.
Well, you know, it's like you know, it's always harder when you haven't done something in a while and you get up.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get at something, and you start being sore. That's why a lot of people quit. You know, they're like, "Oh man, I'm tired of starting over. You know, this hurts.
Yeah.
You know, I'll just sit on the couch watching TV."
But you know something, and I did it when I turned 64, and I don't hide my age or anything, but we've got a lot of snowbirds in town that are my age, you know, that are coming in and all that, and quite often the docs will say, well, you know, you need to start exercising. Why don't you see if you can walk 2 blocks? And of course, I think I was getting to that point where 2 blocks would have been a chore, but we went right into, you know, jumping jacks and push-ups and running around in circles and throwing punches into bags, not each other, but those kind of things. And and I don't find that unusual, but I don't think I'm the norm on I mean, we have a stigma on an age group, but there's no age limit on the physical activity, do you think?
No, not even close. I mean, not even close. Age. I think age is more of a factor when somebody just sits there and thinks, "Oh, look, I'm this old. You know, I can't do this. I'm not as young as I used to be. I can't do as much stuff as I used to be." But I think you're surprised once you get in there and you get in. You know, you get in there, you get in front of a few people. You know, it helps you push you a little bit further. But then all of a sudden you realize, "Oh man, I can do this."
Right. Yeah, I think so. So I've been at it 6 whole classes now. You see success in my future, Dave?
Hey, I tell you what, Russ. You know, from 6 classes, the very first class, you know, look at, you know, even the stretching and where you are now at 6 classes, it's phenomenal.
Well, yeah, you told me to touch my toes. Hell, I hadn't even seen my toes in quite a while, so.
And now you're touching them.
Not without a stretch, but David, you know, I want to check in with you every week, and we'll start talking progress, which you're tracking my weight and size and everything and all that at the same time, and we're going to start putting that on Facebook. Actually, even I'm going to be open about it all, and but I guess I want to promote health, and we'll have some other people on the, you know, talking about diet, talking about, you know, injuries or whatever, what, you know, how to protect yourself, all those kinds of things. So, but I appreciate your help, my friend.
Oh, thank you, Russ. I appreciate it.
All right. I'll see you this weekend. Take care.
All right, guys.
All right. Bye-bye. And that Dave Perez, I do appreciate him. You know, and he's actually a neighbor. I mean, he's right down the street from my shop. And I've worked on his car, and I've talked to him a few times, and I've gone in and done it. So he's a nice guy, but he does a lot of kids.
Yeah. But during the day, they got a lot of kids in, and that's where my kids go, and I love it.
And it's a great discipline. In fact, I like to go watch the kids. They were doing, you know, contact.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course, they're all padded up on the heads and all that, but fun to watch the coordination, the exercise and stuff that they're doing on that.
Kids love it. I have friends that just love it.
Well, and they're all, and it doesn't make them aggressive. It does the opposite.
No, it teaches them control and discipline.
Right. Polite. I mean, it's very polite kids.
Very, yeah. And it's a very polite setting. Everybody gets along there. It's great.
Yeah. It's
been a
lot of fun. I've lasted 3 weeks, Johnny.
That's good.
That's not much
Proud
yet.
of you.
We got to go a year.
Yeah. Years.
Well, and that's my commitment is, you know,
okay.
I want to go, and I do want to hike the Grand Canyon again, but I couldn't do it right now. In fact, I want to hike Telegraph Pass. Now, I was going to do it Saturday morning. I can't do that now because I've got to babysit. I might do it Sunday morning, but I don't know if, I mean, it's been so long since I've been to the top of Telegraph Pass. I'm heavier. I don't have the endurance and all that. The gym's helped me in 3 weeks, believe it or not. But it's going to take me a while to get there. I'm going to, whatever it takes, it takes. I don't know.
Yeah, you'll do it.
I don't know. We should do a contest to say, guess if I leave at 4 a.m. to start the 2.5 miles, it's 2.5 miles to the top.
How long did it take you?
How long? What time will I get there? I don't know that I could guess myself. I don't know. It's 1,500 foot elevation and 2.5 miles over some rugged terrain to get to the top of Telegraph Pass. At one time, I used to do it pretty rapidly when I was getting ready to go into the Grand Canyon, and I hiked the Grand Canyon with some people. But I don't think it's going to be an easy climb for me now, and it may take me quite a long time. I don't know, let alone the round trip, because once you're at the top, you know what you got to do.
You got to come down.
Yeah, there's no car up there waiting, and the helicopters don't seem to come in. So we'll be right back. AM 560 KBLU.
Listen to 560 KBLU every Friday morning from 8 to 9 for Money Talk. Money Talk, bringing you the latest information and changes in the world of finances, brought to you by the partnerships of Academy Mortgage and Yuma Investment Group Wealth Management. That's Money Talk every Friday morning from 8 to 9 on 560 KBLU.
Ronnie's Pizza has been serving up Yuma the best East Coast style pizza and hoagies for over 40 years, using recipes that have been handed down for 3 generations. Ronnie's is home with the Philadelphia cheesesteak and the 28-inch party pizza. Come try a cheesesteak sandwich, stromboli, and of course our famous pizza. Visit us at 2059 South Avenue A or check us out on Facebook. Ronnie's Pizza is now hiring all positions. Come join a great team with great family traditions. That's Ronnie's Pizza.
There's never been a better time to switch to Spectrum Mobile. You could save hundreds of dollars on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator today, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you could save by switching. Visit spectrummobile.com/save. Spectrum Internet required. Savings may vary. Restrictions apply. Visit spectrummobile.com/save for details.
The Border Report brought to you by RV World, located on Gila Ridge Road. Exit Interstate 8 on Araby Road, then head west on Gila Ridge about a quarter mile. RV World, Yuma's premier recreational vehicle dealer since 1991, offering a large selection of new and used RVs. Here are the latest wait times for passenger vehicles in the standard lanes at our selected ports of entry. Algodones is a 20-minute wait, 2 lanes open. The same story at Calexico East, 20 minutes, 2 lanes open. Calexico West is an hour wait, 8 lanes open. It's 2 hours to cross this morning at San Luis with 2 lanes open. Get updated border reports anytime at yumadailynews.com.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark with you. Johnny is in studio, and you got some answers on the helicopter?
Yeah, it looks like about 6:50 a.m. this morning that the Yuma County Narcotics Task Force was serving a search warrant at the 1900 block of South Avenue A. So, and you can find that information on the Yuma County Sheriff's Office official Facebook.
Okay.
And it looks like they were serving, they had some roads blocked off on Avenue A from 13th Street to 20th Street. So,
wow.
They updated it recently about 10 minutes ago, saying that the roadway is open. So it sounds like everything has been taken
Everything's
care
open right now. So these were serving warrants on for narcotics.
Narcotics.
I didn't know the drug dealers got up this early.
Yeah, well, they were probably hoping they were sleeping, and that's why they did it. Yeah,
is that what they do?
Yeah, it's like
that was probably a no-knock warrant then, maybe, or something.
I have no idea.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, but 7 a.m. just seems rude.
You get them while you can. I don't know. You'd have to talk to Wilmot about how they do that.
You gotta go in there. I got a few minutes. Phones are off right now. I just got them on hold, but I want to talk about inflation. Have you felt it, Johnny?
So yes, because of the business I'm in and the people I work with, so I felt it through them, what they're going through for like food and
tightening their belts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And raising their price on their menus because of their food prices have gone up. It's sad. It sucks.
Okay. Story I'm reading here about inflation. It's costing U.S. households an extra $175 per month, according to an economist, right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're in the early stages of this. But for a household earning the U.S. median annual income of about $70,000, that would be, for 2 people working probably. Current inflation rate has forced them to spend $175 on food, fuel, and housing, according to Mark Zandi. He's a chief economist at Moody's Analytics. Although government official called the inflation transitory, which makes it sound temporary. Okay, it's transitory because it's just the start of it. It's going up. The things are in place to make it worse. It's running at a 30-year high right now. So inflation's running at a 30-year high, and you're not reading headlines about it. You're not seeing it. I mean, we see the gas prices, and I talked earlier about the gas prices going up. It's got the concerns of the Biden's administration to where they're going to empty the oil reserve. And there's always a big hesitation to do that. Usually that's a front page like, well, maybe he's doing it too early. They shouldn't do this for political, but not now. You're not seeing anything on it.
No, you're not seeing anything really negative.
No. Well, right now, this article also puts that there's a 70 cargo ships waiting to dock just at the port of Los Angeles. They're just sitting out there in the water, fully loaded, which sounds like 1975 again, because I witnessed that myself in Delaware going out, seeing all the tankers, oil tankers, loaded, not coming in until the price went up. And I had a trucker call me, Mike, the trucker, and he was at a one of those chicken places. There was like 100 trailers out there running reefers, waiting for the price to go up on chicken before they made their deliveries, which is crazy. Article also goes on, talks about the trucker shortage has exasperated it a little bit because they can't find enough. But since April, credit card balances and delinquency rates have been ticking up. So people are starting to use their credit cards more, delinquencies more on those kind of things. And again, we're just starting. It gives some examples here, like a 10-ounce bag of Frito-Lay potato chips. I have no idea. If I was on The Price is Right, okay, you're on The Price is Right, Johnny. 10-ounce bag of Frito-Lay potato chips. What was that going to cost you?
What is it going to cost me
What's
right now?
What's a 10-ounce bag? Yeah, what's that?
10 ounce, $2.50.
$3.75.
Yeah,
and that's up 50 cents from a year ago. Okay, here's another one. I'm going to
All
put you on the spot.
Okay, I don't buy these things, but all right.
Price is Right. 12-ounce Coca-Cola. 12 of a Coca-Cola.
12-ounce can?
Yeah, the dozen of them. A dozen.
Oh, a dozen of them?
Yeah. That's 2 6-packs. It comes in a 12-pack. A 12-pack.
$3.50.
$5.75. And that's up 50 cents in 1 year. Half gallon of 2% store brand milk.
$2.53.
$4.49.
Yeah, these are
up 74 cents.
Oh, no.
Okay. Folgers coffee, it just says here 85 cents more. It's $8.80 now. Big Apple grocery chains, I don't know who they are, but they say that they've increased prices as much as 15% on chicken wings and beef, 10% on milk, 5% on eggs, while non-food, 10%. Those are big numbers. We haven't seen those numbers in 30 years, John. It's and again, it's going to escalate because everything else is going to go up. And this, in fact, AOC came out the other day. She said, how they've been pushing this $15 an hour for a livable wage.
Yep.
She's changed it to 25. I changed it to 25 based on inflation. Well, that's just going to create more inflation. I mean, would somebody give her an economics book?
No, of course not, because they need her to do this to help destroy. So they're not going to give her one. They're going to have her continue to say these things that are never going to come to fruition and just continue to put us into a dire strait.
Yeah. Yes, I think it is a destruction. And I know Edward has put a lot of stuff out here on inflation, but he's given me so much fact checking. I don't know which one it is, but well, and I'll check with that later. But we're headed for worse stuff, and it's going to be driven by energy too. Energy's going to drive it up, and that's gas. And I think the Biden administration knows it, and their poll numbers are slipping. And I think that's a good reason that they're going to go into the reserves and pull oil out, is because of slipping poll numbers. Not that we have a shortage of gas, we have a shortage of cheap gas, and that's intentional. Intentional that we gave up our energy independence.
Yeah, there's a lot of things intentional. Those 70 ships that are sitting on our coast that's intentional as well. That's intentional.
But that's private enterprise doing it. That's private enterprise that's doing that. That's not the government. So
no,
much.
it is the government. It's the government regulations that are saying what the private enterprise. No, you got to. That's not the way it works. It works that the government has put all these regulations on these private enterprises that so they're not able to unload the ships at the time they want to do it. Now they can't even find people to help unload the ships.
I think some of that happens, but I know in the past, and I know on the chicken thing and everything, it was waiting. Private enterprise waiting for the price to go up.
No,
and I know that
this has
too.
to do with this has to do with the COVID regulations that are specific for this
in Los Angeles
industry. This is very specific, and so it's the government creating and tying their hands, and they're not able to get these ships unloaded.
That's unfortunate, but
because it's a simple solution. They get the Coast Guard over there, or they get the reserves over there to help unload these ships if they really care, but they don't care. They're keeping them there.
I watched a YouTube video explaining Tesla a little bit this morning. They went through another round of price increases on some of that stuff, but the price of aluminum, the price of steel, those have gone up dramatically in the last 6 months. A lot of the raw material has gone up, and Tesla's keeping up with it and raising the prices. And we're going to see that all over the place. Just know it's coming. So, what do you do to protect yourself for it, Johnny? What do you think?
You start saving.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the solution. Don't buy crap.
Yeah.
Start tightening the belt now. Don't wait. Tighten it now, and make sure that you're not overspending your budget. You're not putting stuff on credit cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't put stuff on credit. Don't overextend yourself. And
just keep your head on a swivel and be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta just protect yourself. Speaking of protect yourself, study shows that concealed handgun permits has soared during this pandemic, which is a good thing. And I say it's a good thing because it's nice when people want to protect themselves. And those that actually seek gun permits have the least violations of any group in the country.
Yes, sir.
In fact, it's there's a thing here that says in this article, it says permit holders are extremely law-abiding. In Florida and Texas, permit holders are convicted of firearms related violations at 1/12 the rate of police.
Oh, interesting.
So that's and police are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the guys out there creating the violations. So if they're the permit holders are at 1/12. So the fact that people go through the trouble to get the permits and register themselves and get fingerprinted and all that, they are the ones you trust. Absolutely. But the number of concealed permits surged to 21.52 million in 2020, which was a 48% increase.
Whoa.
And 48 up from 2016 and 10 up from the previous year. The number of permit holders grew by a record 2 million last year, which is 200,000 more than the previous record set. So a lot more people are getting it. 8.3% of American adults have permits. In 15 states, it's more than 10% of adults. The highest, another quiz for you, Johnny.
What's that? What do we got?
State with the highest percentage of concealed carry.
State with the highest, Texas.
I think that's a good guess, but it's wrong. It's Alabama.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't have thought that, but 32.1%.
I don't know much about Alabama.
Number 2 is Indiana with 21.6%, and then Iowa with 16.5%.
Oh, wow. Texas not even.
But you start talking about like Arizona, you just don't need a license.
Oh, okay. So that
to have
makes
a
sense.
Concealed weapon.
That would make sense.
I still think permitting is the best way to go because then it's reciprocity to other states. Not all states, but check your facts on that. But some states, you get it. Now, they're thinking it might surge a lot more for this reason. There is U.S. Supreme Court is going to hear a case that involves New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Corlett in November. It's coming up in November. The case will determine whether those requesting permits need to provide proper cause. There's some states that say proper cause. You can only get a permit if you have a cause, like you carrying cash for a bank or something. You can't do it just because I want one. Well, I live in an unsafe neighborhood. No, proper cause is in some states. Now, the 8 states with that rule, and there's 8 states that have that rule, have issued permits to only 1.2% of their adult population. 1.2. If the Supreme Court rules you can't do that, you can't use proper clause. You got to write. They think it should suggest there would be another 2.3 million permits just in those states.
Interesting. We'll see what happens.
It might. Well, I think with the violence rising, the Black Lives Matter, the Antifa people out there and all that, and the promotion of violence through our liberal organizations, and then accusing the right of being violent, the parents. And we'll get to that in the next hour. But, it's the parents at teachers, or boardrooms or whatever, when you go see the teachers association stuff, they're saying parents are violent because they want us to not do critical race theory. They're not violent. They have First Amendment rights to go to the board and say we don't like it, and now they're going to call that hate speech and make it a crime, and they can come get you out of your house even, because that's more terrorism than the Taliban. Outrageous. We'll be back. AM 560 KBLU.
From the 1 hour air conditioning and heating studio, this is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.
Five-year-olds might soon roll up their sleeves. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Pfizer is asking the U.S. government for authorization to jab its COVID vaccine into younger children aged 5 to 11. The company submitted data from clinical trials showing 1/3 of the standard dose produces an immune response in younger kids that is just as strong as that in teens and young adults receiving full-dose shots. Fox's Jonathan Sari. A lot of parents are wary about any potential requirements for school-age kids to get vaccinated. 68% of those surveyed by Quinnipiac oppose such a mandate. That same poll not kind to President Biden.
The lowest job performance score yet came yesterday in that Quinnipiac poll. Just 38% approving of the job he's doing, 53% disapproving overall.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich. In about an hour, President Biden will hit the road again today for a trip focused on vaccinations. Fox's Rachel Sutherland has this live.
Dave, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says the president has a clear message for business and community leaders in Elk Grove Village.
Vaccination requirements work. Vaccination requirements get more people vaccinated, helping to end the pandemic and strengthen the economy.
President Biden will meet with the CEO of United Airlines, the first air carrier to mandate vaccines for employees. The president announced last month that companies with more than 100 employees will be required to ensure their workers are fully vaccinated against the coronavirus. Dave?
Rachel, for the first time in 4 weeks, there was a drop in unemployment claims, 326,000. At the Senate,
we have reached agreement to extend the debt ceiling through early December.
Majority Leader Chuck Schumer working out a deal with Republicans to be voted on later, easing growing concerns about a debt limit the U.S. would have reached later this month. 18 former NBA players under arrest, charged with defrauding the basketball league's health plan out of about $4 million, accused of filing false medical and dental claims. America's listening to Fox News.
Joe Biden wants one of the biggest tax increases ever. Now, experts warn these massive tax increases will wreck the economy. This week, Sean Spicer and Lindsay Keith warn of Biden's tax madness. Each week, Spicer & Company talks to the experts so you can protect your money. Watch Sean Spicer every evening on Newsmax. Find it on every major cable system, most streaming services, or download the smartphone app now. Watch Spicer & Company and Newsmax for the news you need to know.
Is your current home loan the right fit for you? Near historic low rates may be a great reason to refinance, but when matched with an expertly chosen loan from Loan Depot, you could be saving money and paying more towards the bottom line. Call a Loan Depot loan officer and ask about our 27-year Smart Term Loan or our 10-year ARM loan. Get a great rate matched with a great loan by calling 866-888-LOAN or visit LoanDepot.com. At Loan Depot, home means everything. Rates are subject to change. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing opportunity. NMLS number 174457. Licensed in all 50 states.
Morning News is brought to you by Sprague Sports on 32nd Street. Yuma's hunting and shooting headquarters and responsible gun ownership since 1956.
Sprague Sports is Yuma's hunting and shooting headquarters. Why? Because Sprague Sports is the difference. Where else can you buy, sell, trade, or consign firearms with free expert appraisals always? There's nothing like Sprague Sports. With 64 years of industry connections to have products in stock when others can't. And all Sprague's firearms come with a lifetime warranty. And talk about customer service. There's a gunsmith always on duty. Sprague's is your Remington warranty Warranty Center, and when you need it, there's expert one-day site-in service. But that's not all. Sprague Sports has got training courses, including Arizona CCW, First Shot, Hunter Education, and more. Sprague's handles Glock, Blue Label pistols, and is your NFA dealer in suppressors and full autos. That's why we call them the experts. And Sprague's is Yuma's Yeti headquarters. The best Yeti selection and free ice for life. Sprague's has a 10-lane, rifle-certified indoor shooting range and gun rentals you can try before you buy. Serving Yuma's shooting and outdoor needs since 1956. That's the Sprague's difference. Sprague's, 32nd Street next to Lowe's.
Local news from HDDailyNews.com is brought to you by Bridget's Gift. Help us help our Yuma friends fighting breast cancer by joining us for our 10th annual Western Dance and Barbecue at Coca-Cola Casino featuring Gary Allen.
Here's the news in 60 seconds, YumaDailyNews.com. A piece of golden era Hollywood history in Yuma could have burned to the ground. Find out how the historical location was saved, YumaDailyNews.com. Fire Prevention Week marches on this week with cooking fire safety from the Yuma Fire Department. Read all about it on our website. And the #1 trending article on YumaDailyNews.com right now is our feature on the top 10 places to visit in Yuma. See if you've been to any of the hot spots on our website. Spooky season is in full swing, and the scary and safe trick-or-treat is returning to the fairgrounds this Halloween from 4 to 8 p.m. Admission is $1 per person or the Fast Pass for $5. All proceeds will be donated to the Arizona Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics. The city of Yuma is hosting their 5th binational bike ride. Find out more info at YumaDailyNews.com. Send your ideas for local stories to newsroom@YumaDailyNews.com. That's the news. I'm Andrew Caravella.
AM 560, KBLU, Russ Clark back with you. Johnny's in studio.
Yes, sir.
Phone lines are off right now. I got it on hold because I want to open up talking a little bit about some of the issues that are going on with these school boards right now, and the teachers not liking, or the school board staff not liking, or the school board members not liking parents coming in to talk about the education that their children are receiving and have a disagreement with the decisions the school boards have made. Of course, that's what the First Amendment's all about, and that's what we should be doing. Well, there is a push, and this is coming right from the Attorney General, Merrick Garland. It's being pushed that this is domestic terrorism to go in and tell your school board that you disagree with critical race theory. And they're taking that as harassment. Now, what's dangerous, and Tucker Carlson did a good job last night covering this. And Tucker Carlson talked about some of the history that went on here with the National Security Division at the Department of Justice that was created back in 2005, which I didn't pay attention to when they did it. But it's when they re-upped the Patriot Act. So this goes back to a Patriot Act.
Yeah, the most horrible piece of legislation.
Well, it started off horrible, then it got worse.
Yep.
Because they added to it instead of finding that we didn't, we needed to scale it back. They scaled it up.
That's typical of what government does.
Correct. And the National Security Division, we're told at the time, was to conduct counterterrorism and counterespionage. Mostly Islamic terror, which was the primary threat at the time, Chinese spies, trying to get nuclear secrets, suicide bombers, and hijackers. But now here comes Joe Biden in January. Now, we did this back in 2005. In January, Joe Biden comes in, and he changed and turned inward this organization against citizens of the country.
Yep.
He said a few days ago, the Department of Justice, under the radical Attorney General Merrick Garland, now these are words coming from Tucker Carlson, announced that the National Security Division has a new domestic mission. A new domestic mission. I mean, I don't think we have ever intentionally set something up to be specifically a domestic mission. In fact, there's not supposed to be a domestic mission on any of this stuff. But the new domestic mission, according to Garland, effective immediately, the National Security Division is handling the investigation of harassment, intimidation, and threats of violence against school board members, teachers, workers in our nation's public schools. Now, Carlson said, ask, well, what is it? What is this? Those who are threatening school teachers and members of the board are Al-Qaeda now? Are they ISIS K? Well, he says, no, it's parents. These are parents. Parents come in and says, I'm unhappy. And we're going to do something. Oh, that's a threat.
So it sounds,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they're weaponizing.
Weaponizing it is exactly right.
They're weaponizing it, and that's how they get rid of
For
their
promotion of a political ideology.
Exactly, 100%. So you got to ask yourself. Here's one thing: how did we get here? How did we get here?
One little steps at a time.
One little step at a time, and it was under, again, people have to remember this, and under a Republican president that put
the Patriot Act, yeah.
With the Patriot Act.
Sure. Now, the things that they're upset about, the parents, and they're going and saying, we don't like this, we're not going to take it, is we're teaching things like biological sex and the radical ideas of biological sex not being what it is. And this is happening even in pre-kindergarten classrooms, teaching kids to hate their parents. And so Merrick Garland said that the DOJ press in a press release, if any, asked for any explanation of the threats of violence, like what are they? What's the next? But they don't give any. They're devoid of the explanations. Now, other people have, and there's been people out there that are outraged because parents have been saying things like, Jeff Bennett from MSNBC, some behavior is so bad, it's being compared to domestic terrorism. And another MSNBC, Frank's, I can't pronounce the last name, this becomes a security crisis in a sense of the nation. Chris Hayes with MSNBC, how one Republican senator's pretending school board's harassment and imputation aren't off the charts. So the press is getting right behind Garland and using his words and everything else and saying that this is. So Department of so-called justice designed to tell teachers and school board members that when parents complain, it's domestic terrorism. And that's key right now is Derek Garland. Garland is setting up federal organizations to go out and teach school board members what harassment is and how to know and identify when you're being harassed.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to quantify it and say, if they mention these key words or something. So I guess we're going to get into micro expressions or something.
So the key words, probably stuff against CRT, stuff like that. Then they bring it up, and then.
But we have a First Amendment that's going to be overlooked because we have put things in right now under these emergency orders and all this, and with this Patriot Act that turned into the National Security Division of the Department of Justice. Now they got this tool to attack parents' free speech.
Yes.
It needs to be undone, Johnny. These things need to go away.
So you have people, you have politicians listening to the show, you have parents listening to the show. So how does it get undone?
The same way it got in. It was voted in through Congress. Congress needs to undo this. It's the only way it can happen.
So then they need to, the people, because we're just doing a radio show here, but we're making people aware. And so now do you write your congressman? Do you tell them we don't like it? We don't want this to happen? How is our government being weaponized against us?
Yes, it is. IRS is being, they're going to quadruple the size of the IRS. They want the banks now to give the information of any checking account over $600. And every $600 transaction to go into the federal government so the IRS can scrutinize so that wealthy people don't hide their money. Wealthy people is not a $600 checking account. That's not wealthy people anyway. And I don't agree that it would be, that they should have that access to wealthy people either, unless there is a crime and you get a warrant.
Mm-hmm.
But now our Constitution, protects us against invasion of privacy, unwarranted invasions of privacy, and stuff like that. And these acts that we put in with the Patriot Act has given them a go around, and they're taking advantage of it in a huge way and weaponizing the IRS. And we weaponized it during Lois Lerner. And of course, Lois Lerner just pleaded the fifth 100 times and retired with a good pension. But they wouldn't. The IRS was doing things like back then. Anybody was a Tea Party or anything that had Republican in their name, they wouldn't give them a nonprofit status. They just held up the paperwork for years and wouldn't give them anything. They only did that for Democratic organizations. And when it went to Congress and all that, the Congress investigated. They said, plead the fifth, plead the fifth, plead the fifth. These are government workers, bureaucrats that were controlling in a smaller way than now. Now we're just going after them as national security interests and terrorism. This is obscene, Johnny. It's unbelievable that it's happening. And also about masks. Jason Johnson, I forget who he is. He says, is this really about people being upset about mask mandates, or is there just sort of underlying disruptive forces? Oh, he's a black politician, and I remember seeing him now. Some kind of disruptive forces, white nationalists, anarchists, whatever in this country, that are using mask mandates and a public health crisis of sort of wage chaos. To wage chaos because we're against mask mandates and stuff. So he's saying it's white nationalists that come forward and do that. That's a national security risk. And he's an elected official, a black elected official. Says if you're against mask mandates, then you're a white nationalist. This kind of stuff has gotten so ridiculous, over the top. It needs to be stopped. We need to not look at it and say, "Well, it'll just go away" or whatever. We need to push back hard on this kind of stuff and just tell people like Jason Johnson, "No, you're wrong," and just tell them. And we need to be vocal that you're wrong. And they say, well, it's a national security risk. You're threatening me and I'm going to have you arrested. And then I get arrested, I guess. I don't know. But I'm not going to threaten anybody. I'm not going to harass anybody. But I'm definitely going to tell people what I think. I'm not going to back down. And I think more and more people are at that point that they need to get up, and they need to get up and tell them. And it's not somebody else that's going to do it. It's you that's listening that's going to do it. And everyone that's listening is going to do it. But we need to start attending our school boards. And I don't know that we have a real problem here. We've got some issues, probably. We've got some issues that parents are upset about, and I've talked to them, and I don't think the school board is interested in addressing them here. You know, I mean, they're not major issues like some other states, but I think every issue needs to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not a racist, and you're not a terrorist, malcontent, just because you want your kids to have an education that's void of things that you found improper. I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, you should definitely handle yourself in a very respectful manner if you have these issues, and just, raise a concern. I feel very fortunate living here in this community that I think we have a good community. So
an issue about Merrick Garland. Now, his let me see. I know he has a family member or someone that's involved in publishing critical race theory material and getting paid by the government. Did you know that?
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
Yeah, so he's making money on it. Actually, in the family, kind of like the big guy.
It's somebody married into the family that has it. Yeah.
It has a government contract worth millions of dollars.
And they're providing the
critical race theory. Oh, here it is. Mary Garland made it a crime to complain about the beliefs that are enriching his family. This comes from Tucker Carlson. And it's Panorama Education, which is something that's owned by, I guess, his son-in-law or something. It's his daughter's married to the man who co-founded Education Service Company, that Education Service Company. And they that company raised tons of money from Mark Zuckerberg Foundation, and Fairfax County Public Schools, that's just one public school system, signed a $1.8 million contract with Panorama to conduct a multi-year social and emotional learning screener, giving them the right to collect psychometrics on the school's district students. And they're collecting psychometrics on the kids. I don't know exactly what psychometrics are, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look that up.
And find out whether they're sad or gender fluid, and it's making their family rich, making the Merrick family rich. And he's making it illegal to protest it. He's making it illegal to disagree with it. And this company is getting $1.8 million just from that one school district that wants to promote critical race theories.
So
it's all corrupt.
I don't even have words.
It's all wrong. It's all family. I'm seeing on MSNBC this week, the daughter of U.S. Senator Robert Menendez of New Jersey, which is one of the Biden administration's chief allies in the Senate, promised that she would air definitive proof that parents who dare to challenge the Biden administration's orthodoxy are, in reality, a grave threat to national security. She would show us the proof that National Security Division needs to investigate these parents, treat them like criminals for daring to speak up at their own school board meeting before members of the school board they elected to run schools they pay for that educate their children. Here's the evidence she presented. She presented a mom saying, "Don't put mask on our kids anymore. I'm telling you what. I'm a mom who is fearless. I will come after you." That's a national security threat.
Wow.
And the other one was a mom saying, "You're allowing child abuse. You're allowing child abuse. You're allowing child abuse. You are allowing child abuse." National security threat. National security threat. We're taking a break, and then we'll open up the phones. We'll be right back. AM 560. KBLU.
Weather is brought to you by Ed Whitehead's Tire Pros, serving Arizona for over 20 years.
Our weather pattern getting a little more active, another wave of low pressure swinging through. That brings us cooler weather by tomorrow. Today it brings us clouds. 91 this afternoon, but tomorrow sunny at 87 the high. Refresh your wardrobe for fall with Banana Republic Factory. Everything's 40 to 70% off, including season favorites like soft sweaters, easy jeans, warm outerwear, and more. Find your nearest store or shop online only at Banana Republic Factory. I'm meteorologist Terry Smith from the Weather Channel.
PhD Professional Home Doctor.
When it rains, it pours. And when it pours through a leak or a pipe breaks, it means water damage to your home. Choking mold can result, not to mention the mess. Hi, it's Mike Miller from PhD. If you experience flood or water damage, you need to act quickly. With 24-hour emergency service, trust PhD, the professional home doctors, to return your home to its pre-loss condition. PhD, Professional Home Doctors, 341-911-1.
Introducing the largest Toyota dealership in Imperial Valley, United Toyota. With hundreds of available new and pre-owned vehicles, United Toyota has a car, truck, or SUV for every lifestyle and budget. United Toyota, located on Highway 86 between Imperial and El Centro.
Saturday, October 23rd, Bridget's Gift Western Dance and Barbecue is back at Coca-Cola Casino. It's Yuma's favorite charity event, featuring Gary Allen, with special guests Cafe Anderson, Bobby McClendon, Tanner Gomes, and more. Tickets are available at CocaPowerResort.com and Boot Barn. Bridget's Gift Western Dance and Barbecue is brought to you by these fine sponsors: Lamar Advertising and the YRMC Cancer Center.
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark back with you. Johnny's in studio, and I have a caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, a little earlier you mentioned about all the new permits, gun permits.
Yeah, lots of them.
And, of course, the gun sales, those... and I just kind of wondering what these folks are thinking, considering their name goes on a list, and it wasn't, about the end of August, our government was happy to turn over a list to the Taliban about all the people the Taliban wanted to know about. You do you think that if you get on that list, you're protected, you're abiding by the law and all that? But I don't really think that abiding by the law is the best way to go.
No,
right now.
It's an option.
In these times, well, it's not an option. I mean, if you go to Sprague by a gun, you're going to be on a list.
Well, okay, no, it's an option to get a gun permit. You don't have to get one.
To get a permit, but to get a gun, if you go buy a gun,
a brand new gun,
you're going to be on. You go to a gun show, you buy a gun, you're going to be on a list.
Most times, yes, because most of them will fill out a form. If you buy one from an individual, you can legally buy a gun from an individual and not be on any list.
Well, and that's what I'm suggesting. I buy and sell private, and if you don't want to be on that list, when the government hands over that list to somebody else, then I'd suggest you figure out a way not to get on a list.
Yeah, or report your gun stolen to the local sheriff so that you get off of it.
Well, that don't necessarily get you off of it, but I'm just saying that in these times, folks better be careful. I know that everybody wants to be a law-abiding citizen, but law-abiding nowadays doesn't necessarily work in your best interest.
I understand that viewpoint, man, and you're probably right. They did that in Katrina down in New Orleans. A list they're not supposed to have. They're not supposed to have a list of gun owners, but they got them. They got them probably from gun stores, and they went out and collected all the guns during Katrina. Just amazing.
Exactly.
Just amazing.
Exactly.
Appreciate it, buddy.
And they don't care about your constitutional right. The Constitution right now with this administration is nothing but a roll of toilet paper.
Well,
they don't care about it.
It's up to us,
You know?
though. It's up to us. We've got to stand up for it. We've got
Well,
to.
I'm saying,
And if we
be
roll
damned.
over and just say, "Oh, there's nothing we can do," then you're right. We're gonna be lost. We can't
Well,
be
be
lost.
careful what list you want to get on. Be careful what list you want to
I'm
get on.
already on the wrong ones. I appreciate the call.
Be a good guy. Yeah,
bye. Yeah, I'm on the wrong list.
Oh no.
Probably. Yeah, I've been told that, but I'll get a good room at the re-education camp. real quick story about Rashida Tlaib. She's part of that squad. One of the squad members. She was caught on camera not too long ago dancing in Dearborn without a mask. She was maskless, and that happened back in August. Now, of course, it became news because she's been one of the fierce ones yelling, particularly at Rand Paul, because he's telling people to not go along with that nonsense. It doesn't work. So she's obliterating Rand Paul, saying you're wrong and all that. And then she goes out herself and doesn't do it. So, that hypocrisy is going to get noticed and all those kind of things. So that happened back when she was dancing, and they get irritated that someone's following her. Well, just recently, she was just caught on camera wearing a mask. She's wearing a mask.
Oh, okay.
And someone was talking to her about her wearing a mask, and she talking to somebody about the mask. She says, "Oh, no, not you." And someone said that to Tlaib, like, because she had a mask on. She says, "Oh, no, I'm just wearing it because I've got a Republican tracker here." She admitted it. Someone's watching her to see if she takes it off so they can take her picture.
Oh, okay.
It's the only reason she's wearing it. Somebody went up to her and says, "Oh, not you, like you believe in the mask." And she says, No. I'm just wearing it because. Not because I want to be healthy or not because it's the law, but because I've got a Republican tracker. Somebody's with a camera. Some photojournalist probably that's freelancing. I'm going to get a picture of Tlaib breaking the law again. We're not wearing a mask. So it's just, the hypocrisy gets worse in that she even admits it, and whoever was around him got that on video with the audio.
That's been happening a lot lately on both sides of the aisle. There's been people videoing and recording audio of certain.
Well, we find out more about people.
Yeah, of certain people, political figures. Either whether it was like they had Vice President Pence not that long ago, they had Jim Jordan. People are going to these little social gatherings, and now these it's kind of like just the newest who got caught at this last social gathering saying something that they shouldn't have said.
When I was in D.C., George Braun, my friend there in D.C., the Washington bureau chief, he took me to the Capitol Hill Club. Now, Capitol Hill Club is a private country club that's on the Capitol Hill. And when you're in there, you can't take pictures. You can't take nothing. In fact, one of the congressmen I want to take a picture with, with us, we had to go outside the room because you can't photograph anything. And that's probably for those reasons, that people can go in there and relax and not worry about being taped or seen or whatever. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning. Bakersfield, California.
Woohoo! Welcome to California. Thank you, sir. How are you?
Hey, the last time I was here, a couple of weeks ago, it was 110. It's 64 now. Yoo-hoo!
Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
So you mentioned that transitory inflation that we're experiencing.
Yeah.
Secretary Yellen was asked to define the word that she used. She used it.
Yeah.
And she couldn't do it. She refrained from defining what transitory means.
What does that tell you?
Either she's stupid about the English language or she doesn't want to put in writing or definition. She doesn't want to put her name to what she just said.
I think both that's true. I think also probably she was given that word.
Yeah, but she doesn't want to put her name on a time frame either.
Yeah. Oh,
the whole thing.
Yeah.
To give you an idea, our Federal Reserve is reporting 2.3 inflation. It has gone up from 2.1.
Is that a
I don't
month?
know of anyone that noticed 2.3 I mean, if it's 2%, I don't notice that.
Yeah.
But when it's 16% a year, I notice, and that's the real inflation rate.
But that 2% has got to be a month, right? A monthly rate? That's not annualized, I wouldn't think. Because
They said 2.3 since basically the Biden administration. The inflation is only 2.3. So I guess I'm imagining everything I'm seeing.
well, I think that's I don't think there's any numbers that's true. I think
You're correct, because if it goes up according to law, if they correctly list it, they have to up all the government benefits that are tied into the inflation,
yeah.
like food stamps and welfare and what do you call those handicap SSI payments. So that's why they won't admit it. Flash is the one that told me that. But if you go to PPI, production price indexing,
right,
that it'll give you the correct, and that we're on track for 17% this year.
Well, and those are numbers usually that Edward gives me, my financial guy.
Yeah, but you know what? Maybe some listeners in your audience want to know, hey, how do you get to those numbers? Look up the PPI, production price index.
That's exactly right. Hey, what else you got?
Dan Patrick, isn't he the lieutenant governor of Texas?
God, sounds familiar. I don't know.
I think he is.
Okay.
2 nights ago, in the middle of the night, how many do you know that'll do that? Or is on Fox Live, and it actually showed him at his house. So you saw a shot of his house and down around the hallway. Yes, it was interesting. And anyway, he was on in the morning and said that they have 2 court orders to cease and desist of illegals dumping in the state of Texas. The state of Texas is calling them trespassers. He said, quote, we got 1 court order, but they ignored that. So we went back and got a second one, and now they're ignoring the 2 on there. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And then Abbott was on yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that crime went up 400% right now as they're experiencing it. And as fast as they're getting a hold of the MS-13 people, I didn't know he could do this. They're literally taking them in police cars to the border and shoving them across the border. I didn't know they could do that. And they're finding them 2 and 3 times back in.
I didn't know.
Because all they're doing is
and
going in another gate, coming back out.
These are policemen doing it, not the federal government, obviously.
No, correct.
Yeah.
Because they'll hold them in jail, call, and they don't get anything.
Yeah.
And I did call in and was telling you the DOJ is filing criminal charges in Florida for policemen that are calling and saying, pick up these people that we have detained.
Correct.
Criminal charges.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're calling them racist. Detaining them, but they're detaining them for crimes.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy committed a crime here. Pick him up.
Yeah. Well, I think we're living in 1984, according to John. He told me off air. It's 1984, not 1975, which I said it earlier, But this is surreal, and I think nobody knows it because the press isn't running with any of this. The press is complicit. They want one rule party. They want one party to rule, and they're going to let the Democratic Party become an authoritative CCP type organization.
Going back a little bit, when Trump first came in, he'd always talk about the swamp.
Yeah.
Crooked Hillary. It was funny. I had no idea that the corruption was that deep.
I didn't either. I was naive to it also. I was naive to it. I didn't believe it. And I got an education under Trump.
Thank you.
I can't untake the red pill either. Now we know. So what are we going to do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trump,
Hey.
for at least labeling stuff and saying, hey, look over here.
Yes. And then the left was effective, though, in demonizing him daily and then scrubbing him from all social media. And that's the President of the United States. So we don't have much of a chance, which means we better stand up against it now while we can and put people in power that can put the Constitution back in power. Hey, I appreciate the call, but I got to run, my
Later.
friend. Take care.
Later.
Bye-bye. We'll be right back. AM 560 KBLU.
Listen right here on 560 AM KBLU from 8 to 9 a.m. every Monday morning to Life, Death, and the Law, where Sean Garner and Adam Hansen discuss estate planning options. Spend Monday mornings 8 to 9 a.m. with Sean and Adam from Deason, Garner, and Hansen, and learn how you can plan your estate using a will or a trust to protect your family and secure your legacy. That's Life, Death, and the Law every Monday morning from 8 to 9, right here on 560 AM KBLU.
Do you have slips, drips, or footing shifts? Come see my dad, Matt, at Team Ramco Transmission.
We have been a family-owned and operated business for over 25 years. We believe in honesty, professionalism, and supporting our troops. You can find us at 4701 East Gila Ridge Road, right off the interstate.
So when old dependable is not so dependable, come see my family at Team Ramco Transmission.
You can find us on Gila Ridge between Araby and 3E. So come in or give us a call, 928-344-5360.
Are you struggling to find quality employees? Tired of placing the same old Sunday classifieds or getting lost in the online job boards and getting the same results? Then you need to call us today at 344-4980 and put radio to work for you. It's fast. Place an ad today and have it on air tomorrow. Whether you're looking for hourly workers or to fill highly specified job descriptions, placing an ad on radio will help you fill these positions quickly. Call 344-4980 today and put radio recruitment to work for you.
Arizona Marketplace is Yuma's largest outdoor market, open to the public November 4th, accepting all vendors' applications now. Our clients are requesting products and services like kitchen supplies, golf equipment, handmade jewelry, massage therapists, pet grooming, nail salon, hair extensions, and more. Call now for your reservations at 928-328-1088 or visit azmktholdings.com.
Tax the rich, feed the poor, till there are no rich no more.
AM 560 KBLU, Russ Clark with you. Johnny Porter's in studio.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have a couple explanations from my fact checker.
Okay.
Edward says the 2.3% inflation rate was developed under the new rules of defining inflation. So they changed the rules. The new rules removes clothing, food, and energy from the new formula. If we were using the old formula, August 2021, the inflation is 5.25, not 2.3. So nearly double. And consensus for inflation in September, 5.4. These are wicked numbers.
So they changed the rules.
Yes.
Who's they? Can you find out who?
That would be the Biden administration. You know, under bureaucracies, I don't know, whatever bureaucracy, whether it's Yellen or whoever does inflation calculations, but
so why was it? Did he any explanation why they changed the rules?
I don't know that, but I think we can all guess why.
Well, we could guess, right? But
yeah, we want better numbers.
Yeah, that would be the guess, but they usually don't just say, "Hey, we need better numbers. Let's change this." They usually have some explanation for why.
The United States Adjusted Consumer Price Index for all urban customers is based on the prices of a market basket of food, which is 14% of the total weight, energy, which is 9.3% of the commodities, less food and energy commodities is 19.4% of the total number, and services less energy is 57.3%. The last category is divided by shelter, 32%, medical care, 5.8%, and transportation services, 5.5%. And those are the adjusted consumer price index for all urban customers. I mean, the thing about statistics and stuff, when you start analyzing things against statistics, you want to be consistent in your methodology to figure out your numbers. But
if you have nothing to hide,
when the new administration comes in and says, "Well, we're not going to use that one anymore," boom, change it, and we're saying, "See, you under Trump, it was this. Now it's us, and we're this." You know, because they lie. It's a lie.
Then you're doing apples to oranges,
and they're not putting an asterisk saying these are the new configurations, taking out the things that matter.
Energy,
right? Food,
yeah, food.
You know, those discretionary expenses.
Yeah, stuff like that's whatever. Yeah, who knows?
Right. So
who needs energy and food?
We're being lied to regularly. Unfortunately.
Have you seen the movie Mr. Jones?
No.
I suggest everybody watch the movie Mr. Jones.
Is Mrs. Jones in it?
No, but watch Mr. Jones. It's really interesting, and
Tell me really quickly. What's that?
it has to do with the USSR and how the media downplayed what was really happening during that time when everybody was starving to death, and how the media was.
Oh, we're talking back after the Tsar was taken over or something?
I forget the timeline, but it was during the time when the
millions of people died.
Where millions of people were dying.
Yeah.
And the media kept saying, like, everything's fine. It's good. It took one guy to go over there and kind of blow the lid on the story. And he did his best to go over there and get down to the bottom of it, because he said things aren't adding up. But the media continued to prop it up and said everything's fine. And the Russian government kept saying everything's fine until this guy went over there and saw. So it's a true story. What's interesting about that,
and we all know what happened. We know what happened.
No, we know what happens,
and it's happening right now in our country.
Yeah, so
and the media is complicit.
Yeah, so I would suggest everybody watch Mr. Jones just to get some frame of reference of what happened. And
I have a message from our fact checker.
What's up?
You asked the question about who makes the changes.
Yep,
it was the Bureau of Labor and Statistics.
Man, this guy's on it, this fact checker.
But that's what he does for a living.
That's cool.
He's an investment guy. So he studies not only the numbers, but everyone that produces numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows what he's looking at. That's why he's good at what he does. So I hear.
Yeah. Yep.
So I hear.
Well, that's cool.
I think it's all true. Yeah. If you want to know numbers, ask Edward. He's just full of them. That's good. And I guess, his office staff must be off today.
Oh, so he's able to engage.
He's able to listen and engage. He's been very busy these last few weeks, and because I guess it's a time frame that they have a lot of contracts to do and a lot of businesses that they buy. They buy businesses. They buy out a lot of stuff, and he's had to sign papers and talk to lawyers and do the boring work. The stuff he makes money at and that stuff. A little article here. You remember the Truman Show?
Yeah.
And that Truman Show basically was a guy that lived in a reality that wasn't real. It was a made up world. And Jim Carrey, I'm sorry. And it was a TV show following this guy around as he lived in his literally a bubble. And everyone was an actor but him. It was a fake world. And everything was fake, and they screwed with him, and then it was made a TV show out of it, right? The Truman Show. Well, they're comparing Biden to that now a little bit, and I didn't know that. I didn't know this. This is news to me, but there's a fake White House set, that shows the Rose Garden in full bloom and everything, and it's over in the Eisenhower Building, and apparently rather than do things in the White House. He actually goes to the fake set because they can set up teleprompters and everything, and the teleprompters won't be seen. That way, he can read teleprompter type stuff because it's not a real room, and they've got open space, and there's pictures of him using the.
Yeah, I've seen him. Joe Rogan actually, I think, put one of the pictures up of it. It's so bizarre.
So people are shooting it, calling it the Truman Show presidency, and there's been others in there.
Well, the press is in there regularly. And
yes, but I mean, there's other people that use the set. Like when he's in there, he's had Linda Thomas Greenfield, the U.S. ambassador, the ambassador to the UN, Anthony Blinken, the Secretary of State, and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. It's like, meet me in the Oval Office over the over at the Eisenhower's room, because they have a big room there that set up a movie set.
Yeah,
and they use a fake White House so that they can have better teleprompters and coachers for Biden.
It's so strange.
Which you can't fit in the Oval Office.
It's so strange.
Without the people seeing it. Isn't that weird?
It is very weird. The first time I saw the pictures, I was just like, oh, this is it. This is just so perfect. This is just it. This embodies the feeling of what's going on. So,
but our press is complicit. They're in there doing that. And there's nothing. There's nothing criminal or wrong about it. The only thing is that it's not real.
Yeah.
And normally the press would put that in there that, hey, we're meeting over here today. It's not real. It's really a facsimile of the room. But they don't put it in there. They hide it.
No. And then it's only when like a little picture gets leaked out that it's at it.
But it makes me think, like, what else are you hiding?
What else are you hiding? Exactly. That's why I'm saying.
You can hide that.
Watch Mr. Jones.
Which that doesn't mean anything. You know, I mean, really, if he's doing that, it's like, wow. And one time, apparently, they gave Trump a hard time for doing something on a green screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it was a big national crisis. And this guy's actually set up a whole Hollywood movie set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks very strange once they pull back. So I saw some of the original pictures, like of when he got the vaccine. It was on that
right,
set.
That was done there.
And then, but when the picture was pulled back, it was just like, what? Where are we at? Like, what is this? It just gave you a weird feeling, you know?
Yeah, this is a really non-transparent. Remember when he was like, "I'll be the most transparent," and now he's changing history on the Trump administration. He just said this just a couple of days ago that, well, think about where I was. I'm not blaming anybody else, but these are the facts. When I got to be president, there was no plan on the COVID vaccine. There was no plan on it. What are you talking about? They were doing 1.5 million vaccinations a day the day you took the oath. You know, they had ramped it up. They got all that. And he just looks the camera in the eyes and no one calls him on it. No one fact checks him except fact checkers that he's paid for. And they go, yeah, he's right. Because they've bought the fact checkers. Remember when the fact checkers were a big deal and you could always check them and it would mean something? Well, now the fact checkers are actually part of the administration. You know, DNC fact checkers and people have bought fact checkers.
Well, if this new whistleblower gets her way, the government's going to own and control Facebook itself.
Well, and I talked about the other day because, you know, you and I got in a disagreement because I thought she was real and you thought she wasn't. And so I did research afterwards and I'm like, son of a gun, you know, there's too much smoke here that, you know, she needs to be checked because everyone's agreeing with her. Democrats, Republicans, kumbaya, we need to control. And Zuckerberg's even agreeing with her.
Yeah.
You know, like, wait a minute. She's fact checking. I mean, she's a whistleblower against you.
Yeah.
And he agrees. Yeah, it's time. The government needs to control this government, which would take him off the hook.
Yep. Give him an easy out. The government controls it. They censor what they don't like. And there you go.
And then the censorship would be the same. It'd just be government controlled instead of Zuckerberg. And it would be in control of the administration because they are the ones that would control who gets on that panel and who it is and all that stuff. So it's going to be political, more so than even under Zuckerberg. At least Zuckerberg's a private citizen that can be sued and, you know, whatever, and or you know, somehow controlled negatively. But this could be a plant. I mean, she could be somebody that was sent out there.
Oh, I don't think could be. I think 100%.
It doesn't matter.
But
I'm not disagreeing with you. but it's something to watch and see where it goes. And I know that a lot of people have already warned a lot of our Republican senators and representatives, like this does not pass smell test at this point. And so we need to tread lightly and not so quickly because everyone jumped on it at the same time. And there was no, I mean, we can't agree on COVID. We can't agree on vaccinations. We can't agree on most anything because everything's political. And all of a sudden, a whistleblower comes up, and these whistleblowers in the past, and you saw how the left fought for the whistleblowers against Trump. Like, we can't give you their name, and we can't tell you anything about them, but they said Trump sucks, and I believe them. Well, now the whistleblowers are in the open, and everyone is able to interview and talk to them and identify them, and everyone's, I'm like, wait, that's not right. That's not how they do things today. So this is definitely a different whistleblower than what we've had. We'll be right back. AM 560. KBLU.
The best advertising in the world is the most memorable. That's the goal of all advertising, to make your business the name to remember when it comes to the goods and services you sell. This is why the best advertising on the planet has always been done with the long game in mind. Most are consistent advertising campaigns with multiple messages deployed over a 2 or 3 year period. This takes having a solid, steady plan and being consistent in your themes. Learn how to make your advertising into a long-term campaign at yumaadvertising.com.
There's never been a better time to switch to Spectrum Mobile. You could save hundreds of dollars on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Try the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator today, and in 3 easy steps, you'll see how much you could save by switching. Visit spectrummobile.com/save. Spectrum Internet required. Savings may vary. Restrictions apply. Visit spectrummobile.com/save for details.
Am I the only one willing to fight for my love of the red and white and the blue?
Hey, what's up? I'm Aaron Lewis. Join Big and Rich, Eddie Montgomery from Montgomery Gentry, and myself on Saturday, November 6th at the Ak-Chin Pavilion to remember and honor our veterans. Please show up in force. Let these veterans know that we still believe in them and care for them, along with our active military and our first responders.
Join Big and Rich, Aaron Lewis, and Eddie Montgomery of Montgomery Gentry as they salute American veterans and first responders. Saturday, November 6th at the Ak-Chin Pavilion. Tickets are on sale at Ticketmaster.com.
God bless the USA. I'm not the only one. Clean shirt, new shoes, and I don't know where I'm going to. Silk suit, black tie.
AM 560 KBLU. Russ Clark back with you. Man, it's already 8:50 on a Thursday morning, Johnny. You know, here in about 10 minutes, we're going to have to get to work.
Yeah.
You know, we have to leave this sanctuary and go out there. Okay, my fact checker's back on me again. When I talked about fact checkers, that you can't trust them because they've been bought out by organizations that have an agenda. And then they manipulate the fact checkers.
Okay.
So that they tell half truths. Even the fact checkers aren't honest. We need an independent fact checker to check the fact checkers. So Edward wrote, fact checking is a solid system, and all of the fact checkers have fact checked this statement. No, none of them can be trusted. And it used to be, God, which ones of it that were solid that I would go to regularly?
Oh, you're talking about like
the names of the fact checkers.
Oh, you're talking about the bigger ones like Snopes or Snopes or whatever.
That's the one I used to go. Well, let's check it on Snopes. Which no more. I mean, they're completely corrupt.
Yeah.
Somebody bought them, I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who owns them, but somebody made them just a pawn to an agenda.
Yeah, I think there's Soros money behind that now.
Probably. I think they started out legit, doing like real fact checking. But not anymore. And no one fact checks Biden.
Mm.
I mean, during Trump administration, you had fact checkers galore, which were political, hacks that were just, instant, responders. That's all. That we want to disagree with everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it was unfortunate. District Court judge blocks landmark Texas fetal heartbeat abortion law. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Now. And abortion has been a touchy one in this country for some reason, and it's very political. Democrats love abortion, Republicans don't. And they call it a health issue, which is interesting. But this Judge Pittman, and what this Texas law did, by the way, it said that once the heartbeat starts, once you have a heartbeat, you can't abort that baby. And if somebody helps in that abortion, they
can be sued.
They can be sued. Even if it's somebody that talked you into it, even if it's somebody that drove you, I'll drive you there to get it. Apparently you're opening yourself up. And it also made it illegal to do an abortion without checking for the heartbeat. You must check for the heartbeat. And if there is one, can't do it. Well, that was an interesting way to go about it. And apparently was very effective in that when Texas passed that law, a lot of abortion suppliers of that service closed their doors, said, we're not doing it. We're not going to risk the lawsuits. And people complained about it, saying, well, this is unfair. Well, Judge Pittman, Robert Pittman, got it. And of course, it was asked by the courts, the Fifth Circuit Court was asked an opinion, and they said, nope, it's legal. You can do that. And abortions have always been, and they still are, illegal at some point. At some point, it's a baby. And, first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, there's always this line that is arbitrary, that people say, well, I don't want an abortion after this or that or whatever. And then, states are somewhat different. And then there's some people that push it all the way to birth, or 2 years beyond, even was a suggestion at one time, that babies aren't really conscious of life until age 2 or something, so you can go ahead and off them. That's just
horrible.
And that went away pretty quickly. That was discussed by most, even the pro-abortion people go, what? That's too much. But this one put a specific time of the heartbeat. Didn't like it. As Judge Pittman says, a person's right under the Constitution to choose to obtain an abortion prior to fetal viability is well established, which it still is. It's just that they put the viability at heartbeat. Well, it's not really viable outside the womb, but viability would mean if it's a preemie, which they kind of did away with anyway, because they make it legal to kill an aborted baby if the baby's still alive. You don't have to give, medical care to that. So it's fully aware that depriving its citizens of the right by direct state action would be flagrantly unconstitutional. The state contrived an unprecedented and transparent statutory scheme to do just that. So he's calling this law a scheme to get around. And I like the way he says it's Constitution. Now, obviously, if you read the Constitution, it never says abortion. And what he's referring to is probably the law, the Roe v. Wade decision, which I guess is supposed to be founded in Constitution. But it doesn't specifically say abortion by any means. But Judge Pittman ruled that Texas had deliberately circumvented the traditional process, which I find interesting when a judge says traditional process. Versus,
that piqued my interest. What does that mean?
Well, that means he's not following the rule of the law. More like, well, that's the way it's always been done. More, and that's at what people call legislating from the bench or whatever versus the rule of law. See, the rule of law is not up to the judges. The judges are to interpret the laws to make sure they follow the confines of the Constitution. But they can use the discretion now for some that to legislate from the bench by changing things based on their own ideas or whatever. But it's 1/3 of the we're set up into 3 legs to our we got the executive branch and the legislative branch and the judicial branch. They all have a role, and the role of the judicial branch is to make sure that they don't pass any laws that are blatantly against the Constitution, which is set there to protect people's rights.
Yeah.
But anymore, the judicial branch has become an avenue that people want to place activist judges that legislate because there's things they can't get through the legislature. But the way it's supposed to work is if the legislature does something that they rule is unconstitutional, it goes back to the legislature and they either rewrite the law or abandon it, one way or the other, because it doesn't have the popularity that somebody wants to vote for it. So it's easier to not vote for something. It's easier just to have the judge proclaim it, versus putting my neck out there saying I'm voting for this to abort babies or something. But he ruled that Texas had violated the precedent under Roe v. Wade, the 1973 ruling that upholds a right to abortion, which some people think is bad law, bad decisions, whatever. They're out of those opinions. I'm not a lawyer, but I know it's been fought against ever since, and it probably will not stop. From the moment SB 8, this is the judge speaking, from the moment SB 8 went into effect, women have been unlawfully prevented from exercising control over their lives in ways that are protected by the Constitution. And that's kind of a stretch because, when you say protected by the Constitution, you make it think like, wow, the founding fathers knew about abortion. They didn't. But the Constitution protects people's rights. And I don't know what part of the Constitution you'd be referring to other than the Roe v. Wade ruling, which was 1973, not 1673. But Texas, likely to get swift reversal from the Fifth Circuit Court and whatever. But you only have to find one judge.
Yeah.
You go out and find it. Attorney General Merrick Garland, though, is applauding it. He said, today's ruling enjoying the Texas law is a victory for women in Texas and for the rule of law. It is the foremost responsibility of the Department of Justice to defend the Constitution. I love that. They all use the Constitution like they use science. We will continue to protect constitutional rights against all who would seek to undermine them. And then the White House also praised the ruling. So this is very political. And right now, there's no doubt that the Biden administration says we have all the politics locked down. We own it. And they're acting dictatorial when we don't need anything bipartisan or anything else. And they're scary. It's very scary. And everything they accused Trump of being, which he never was, of being emperorish and trying to rule like a king, and it's never true. If anything, he kept unwinding deep state. He was unwinding regulation. He was unwinding, leaving things to states, leaving things to, and now the opposite. And they're tightening it all back up. And we'll tell you how to act. We'll tell you when you need to wear a mask. We'll tell you when to get a vaccine.
Which to me sounds unconstitutional.
It is, but you're not going to hear Merrick Garland say that. Just say, well, we did that for kids to go to school, which we'll talk about that another day. AM 560 KBLU, we're out of time. I'll see you guys on Monday. Johnny, I'll see you tomorrow. AM 560 KBLU.
From the 1 hour air conditioning and heating studio, this is News Talk 560 KBLU, Yuma.